Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Co-Optional Podcast on the 14th of July, 2015.
Welcome to the podcast. I was waiting for literally anyone else to say anything. Nothing.
I know.
Nothing.
You know,
I
after
know.
last week's show, I understand the need to fill time, but that was going beyond a joke.
And
It's
now
not
to
like
play
you
a
cut
game.
us off, to be fair. You
What?
wanted to see what would happen, too.
I'm usually curious because you guys, during, for those who don't know, during the pre-show, I have to have Skype muted. So what I usually see is people making stupid faces, wiggling their heads around, and plotting all manner of shenanigans. So I'm
Well, to be
always
fair-
curious.
Today, it was us taking selfies all together.
Yeah.
So if you're on Twitter, which you should totally follow all of us on Twitter. If you're on Twitter, you see some beautiful selfies. We took
See
a lot of time to
chain
make
of
perfect.
They're lovely.
Mhm.
I wouldn't say perfect.
Oh,
They're perfect.
God.
They're
They
practically
are
perfect in every way.
Yeah.
This isn't
Just
like
like
one
Mary
of those, you're all
Poppins.
special snowflake situations. They are awful photos. They are pretty bad.
I will agree with you on that one. Absolutely. Yours in particular is
No.
absolutely awful.
It looks
Just
like
needs-
it looks like my
Just needs
face
to go to
is
the
trying to
bathroom.
like
It's okay.
cave in on itself. And Duger is drunk apparently in her photo, and Maggie is just displeasing of the whole situation. She's like,
I think I like caught it mid smile, so it's all right.
I'm just looking at that angle. It
think
looks
we-
like the beard's trying to take over the rest of your face, Jesse, aggressively.
Look, agreed. It's only a matter of time.
I would agree
It's
with
good.
that.
Good shit, guys. Welcome to the
Yeah.
podcast.
We're great. We're amazing at what we do. And I have no doubt that our sponsor for today is very pleased by our antics. They are, of course,
Who's that,
Crunchyroll.
GB?
Crunchyroll.com/totalbiscuit.
Crunchyroll.com.
Go there for your free trial for unlimited anime.
I love that site. I live on that
So much
site.
anime,
Yeah.
so much.
I asked Dodger for information for this week's new ad for things. It's like, yeah, I've watched like 15 animes. Like,
Yeah.
Such
They're-
as...
There are like 45 different anime that have started. Some of them are like sequels, but I've watched 15 different completely new anime, and I'm like, it's too much. But there's some really good ones. Although I don't, just, you know, out of respect for our sponsor, I don't want to say ones that aren't actually on Crunchyroll.
That would be a particularly bad idea.
They basically
I
do
think
new
so.
seasons, and like every season they'll add like a bunch of new ones, and then they'll have like reoccurring ones that did really well last season. So it's pretty good stuff.
Yeah. I did watch Monster Musume. It was not as wonderful as I wanted it to be. I was
Oh.
very disappointed.
I'm sorry to hear
Yeah.
that.
Literally because the girl who you can tell is supposed to be the main girl in the show is the worst. I was like, I just want sexual antics with monster girls. And that's like,
Is
that's
that
what they
too
gave
much
me.
to ask, world?
That's what they gave me, but then they also gave me like a super obnoxious, horrible leading lady.
I
Can
think
you
you're
do her
looking in the
voice?
wrong
Like,
places for that.
Can you do
Dodger.
her voice, please?
Darling. That's she calls him darling all the time, even though they've only known each other for like a couple days. She goes, darling,
Wait, so
darling, always.
she's a sexy snake girl, but she sounds
a snake
Baby's
girl.
face.
but she
Your
sounds like a
face.
child.
Why?
Totally. She constantly uses her tail to like choke him out.
The
And
fuck?
Salmon, like she'll grab him with her tail and like constrict his neck. And so like Sam and I were watching it, and he was like, "Fuck no." The first time that would happen, I'd be like, "Nope, you ain't doing that shit no more." This guy totally just like deals with it because he's a big old baby, and I'm like,
Oh, he did.
it's the worst.
Now I need to watch.
A lot of
It's
people in
awful.
chat talking
Lamia Girl is
about
awful.
Gate, which is apparently a series whereby fantasy monsters and knights invade Tokyo for no apparent reason.
Yeah, like
course.
a giant portal shows up, and like all of these medieval knights like come through the portal and get annihilated because we have guns, obviously.
Well, yeah.
But then the gate is just still there, so they're kind of hanging out, going, "Okay, do we go through the gate?" But the main character is like a mega weeb who winds up being like involved in all of it, and you're just like, okay. He's like an off-duty officer who winds up being heavily involved in the whole thing.
Well,
So.
of course.
Obviously, because we have
Food
to
Wars,
connect with somebody.
15
And
episodes?
yeah, man, there's so much to catch up on.
15 episodes of Food Wars? How many times per episode does it go on to the point where it's like there's a whole episode of just like people exploding their clothes off? Or is that rare? Is that
It's
like a
actually fairly rare, surprisingly. Like the first
It's
episode,
wound down, yeah.
the first episode they go kind of insane with that, and then they probably realize that doing that in a school full of sort of high school aged people is probably a bad idea. So they at
What
least
could go wrong? What could
try
go
to
wrong?
sort of
teacher.
ish be a little.
The teacher literally only wears an apron.
Oh my god.
He's
like
male
naked
though.
except for an
I
apron.
mean,
yeah.
so it's, you got to give him credit for equal opportunities.
and
Does he,
I
does
don't
he
I
shave
see
his
no
butt?
problems.
That's what matters at that point.
I mean, in an anime, everybody has a shaved butt.
Oh yeah.
Well, I was gonna say it
Oh,
costs
his
less to
butt
animate.
is-
You know,
Yeah.
that's why, obviously.
I would
Facts.
prefer it
Because
if you
you're
just had
animating butt hair. What?
Yeah.
Well,
Hairiest
obviously,
butt.
that's a major investment of resources.
Just
Right.
if they,
Why,
if they spent
why do you
all their
think
time
that you
and
never
energy
see it in video
animating
games?
hair-
Why do you think that? You know,
Yeah,
Yeah.
where's all the
Why-
butt hair in
why-
video games?
why does Geralt-
Where
Man.
is it?
why does
Where
Geralt
is
have a
it?
perfectly shaved behind?
Well, that's just mutagens.
The technology
Witcher.
just isn't there yet.
That's mutagen. That's,
You know?
I mean,
in a
that's,
game
that's
where he has the
something
technology to grow beard hair, the arse is clean always
Mhm, always.
in a
Priorities,
medieval
Jimmy.
world.
Like evolution. Or maybe it's all like that chainmail rubbing up against your bum.
Yeah.
I do
Maybe he-
feel that you'd
maybe
have
he just
something
mixed it
beneath
out.
the chainmail, generally speaking. Like, I don't know,
No.
some kind of leather.
Nope.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
Chainmail
Maybe
under,
maybe
it's
he raw
Rolex.
dogs it.
Maybe.
I'm not going to
I
argue
mean,
with him. It's
clearly
Geralt.
he does. If you've watched the first 5 minutes of the game, he just pulls up pants. That's it. He pulls up them pants. He's like, "Yeah, cool. See you later, baby." That's it. So, you know, raw dog.
Row.
They call him the raw wolf. Watch out, ladies.
Well, we've only seen two games with revolutionary dong physics up to this point. That was the Order 1886, which spent most of its money on that one scene, I think. And then, of course,
Well,
Mount
we
Your
have-
Friends, which is where most of the budget went.
that is flawless dong physics. That game
Agreed.
is just. It's amazing.
Even
Yeah.
on the ladies. It's great. I love
Oh,
it.
yeah. Their
Equal
dongs are
opportunities.
amazing.
Welcome to the
Lady
Co-optional
Dong?
Podcast. We occasionally talk about video games, so we'll talk about less of this now. Anyway, yes, Crunchyroll.com/JoltBiscuit, sponsor for today's show. Our special guest for the show today, returning after 6 months. I wouldn't even call it a hiatus, because you're not expected to come back, but you've shown up anyway, so thank you, Maggie. Welcome to the show.
I was just like, F this joint, I'm out.
I don't blame you in any way. You know, you deal with Jesse enough with that roleplay show as it is. I can't imagine you want any more of that.
Aw. I love Jesse. It's like a
Yeah.
love-hate relationship, you know.
You know,
I love to
I
hate
engaged
him.
in a hate-hate relationship with him several years ago. It's been working out pretty well so far, I gotta admit. It's just simple, you know, we understand each other and loathe each other on many different levels.
Hold on. No, loathe and love do not have the same
No, they
number
don't.
of letters. So I'm
No,
just gonna.
no,
I was
they
like,
do
where-
not.
Hold
Yeah,
on. What about
where
what
we
about
going with
loathing?
this?
No.
God, JP's in
I'll
chat
figure it out.
self-promoting. I should
Jesse's
ban that guy.
thinking so hard right now. Jesse's gonna
Boo.
Boo, JP, time him
To be
out.
fair, we were talking about roleplay. To be fair.
Not anymore, we're not. He can get the hell out of here.
Yeah. F that
Speaking of
show,
which,
nerds.
Jesse and I will roleplay after this.
Damn parasite. Oh dear.
Yep.
Alright, yeah, well, last week's show was absolutely terrible, as you're probably well aware. Just an
No, it was
awful,
great.
awful show.
It was co-optional podcast and the lounge all mixed together.
A cute
it was-
kitten.
It was barely even the lounge. Like, it was just a Proton John self-masturbate. That's not really the word.
F that guy.
Self-masturbatory
No one-
simulation is what that was. It was just, hey, I'm JonTron.
Can't
Look
be
at how
angry with
great I
him.
am at all of these games.
He's not JonTron.
Not JonTron. Sorry, Proton John. My God.
Jeez.
JonTron had
Really?
nothing to do
Wow.
with it. I
Same
can,
person.
they're really
same
similar.
person.
They
Really
sound
the same
really
person.
They're not.
similar.
They're not similar
JonTron,
at all.
Proton John.
They're literally
Exact
the
same
only thing
person.
that's similar is their name.
Really?
It's the
Proton
only
John,
thing.
Same person
JonTron.
at this
It's
point.
easy.
Oh
It's
my
so
goodness.
easy to get mixed
Same
up between
person.
the two.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
I agree.
Absolutely. Proton
So it's-
JonTron. If that hasn't been fanficked yet, I'd be very surprised.
Proton.
Landmaster.
Oh god.
It will be by the end of the show, that I can guarantee.
Probably also have its own anime form.
Oh god, no.
Maybe a manga as well.
Yeah. Do you think they would animate the behind hair on that as well?
Oh
Probably
yeah,
not.
they one of them has to have a hairy bum.
Oh, it's JonTron.
Jesse says that from personal experience.
Jesse's like, oh, I know. I've seen his.
I know.
Oh, it's JonTron.
I've been up close and personal with Dakubi.
Oh, yeah.
I know.
Oh, yeah.
Jesus goddamn why. Okay, so we're going to talk about the games we've been playing this week since we've actually had the time to do so these idiots don't have any excuse whatsoever. And then, of course, we'll talk about the news. Some of it is a little bit sad, of course, as you're probably well aware. You know, the big news this week. Pretty damn tragic, needless to say. But we'll try not to get too miserable for you. A little bit, maybe. A little. Sucks. God,
You could just bring all of that down.
I
You're happy and laughing.
now
and then
we're all just really
you're
sad.
get sad.
No. I Irish wake shit like this. I celebrate. I celebrate life. Let's just break out the booze. Celebrate. That's all I
Implying
do.
that we need an excuse to do so.
Jesse's just
My
like,
excuse is having to get to the
"Get
fridge
mad
over there.
and
But
put myself to sleep.
Too lazy to even get wasted. That's Jesse.
I have to drink my water.
Me too. Cheers. Boop.
I have water in form of tea.
I have water in the form of the water that is in this.
What is that? Just juice?
It's
Yeah, what is that?
tangerine juice.
Like it
Oh,
looks like
It's
orange.
so bright. It looks
It's
like it might kill you.
it
Yes,
looks like
probably.
Sunny D. It looks like whatever the hell
It's
Sunny
not.
D is.
It is
what it looks
100%
like.
pure tangerine juice, which I've discovered is actually nicer than OJ, so I'm a fan of it. It's good. It's
Is
good.
it? Oh, is it freshly made?
Well, it came out of a bottle, so probably
Oh.
not. When do you
I
think
saw
I have the
Jenna
time to
juice-
press
I
a
saw
bunch
Jenna
of
has, like, the juice.
tangerines? Really?
I don't
Get
know,
up in the
I just-
morning,
I was
get a bag
guessing.
of tangerines, just start pressing them. Absolutely, that sounds like the kind of thing I'd do.
Well, I mean, instead of putting clothes on, you could. I mean, that's what we imagine you're doing. You're just pressing tangerines.
I was gonna say, like, not putting
against
clothes
your
on
ass.
doesn't save me that much time. Like, a couple of minutes at most, really. Oh, man. Alright, let's talk about the games we've been playing this week. I'll start with you, Maggie. What the hell have you been doing? What's been going on?
Oh my gosh, things have been crazy for me. So I've been really busy. But oh God, what's that game that I was playing? I've been finishing The Witcher 3. I know, I'm slow. Don't judge me.
I haven't even started it yet, don't
Life
worry.
has been crazy.
Zero judgments.
And then I have been playing a lot of Terraria because that's the new patch came out.
Yeah, the new patch. So, what exactly is new in this thing? I mean, we've seen a lot of people streaming it, and there's been a huge resurgence in people playing this title. But how big is the 1.3 update?
It's pretty big. There's a lot of new stuff in it. I don't know like the whole list of the patch notes, but there's like new items, which is the mostly what I care about. So I'm like trying to find all the things to spawn all the bosses and kill all the stuff and get all the loot.
Do you have a butterfly net yet? Because I'm noting the trailer has one of those.
No, I don't have a butterfly net.
Oh, what the
All
hell are
I'm
you
saying
doing?
is
That game is terrifying. I
Why
played
is
it for the first time. I played it for the very, very first time after this update came out. I was like, all right, maybe it's time to play Terraria. And it's just me, like, the thing that I enjoy the most in Terraria is digging, just like picking a spot and just digging forever and seeing what I can find. But like those big worm thingies, those worm thingies that just come out
They
of
don't-
nowhere
They're
and
down,
like
they're down in the bottom. Like you have to be going down in the ground to get to the worms. But yeah, they do kind of just like come up
no.
and swoop around at you.
I had worms that just like attacked me when I was just hanging out up top. But
Really?
the worms are terrifying.
Were you in the corruption area? Because, I mean, worms do it there, but outside of that, you shouldn't be encountering worms on the
The very first
surface.
time I saw a worm, it was just on the surface with me.
Huh.
And then I accidentally spawned the big eyeball monster while I was like underground.
Oh, yeah, I feel it, yes.
And
Oh,
could
you
not
spawned
get
it with
away.
you spawned it with the item
I don't know. I don't know what happened. Like that game is terrifying.
because you have to actually like spawn that.
Gotta say, it's hard to do that by accident.
I don't know
Yeah,
how I did it. I don't know what happened.
I usually find like an
People who
open
watch my
clear
stream.
spot and then we just like shoot it down with ranged
You know,
stuff.
You know, TB. When we played, we went through all the Star Treks but one.
No, we didn't.
Yeah, except for Voyager. We didn't do Voyager. And Voyager, wait for it.
Enterprise,
Voyager
the
has
animated series, the various
Voyager-
semi-official fan fictions, all the motion pictures, the reimagined Abrams universe. Don't fuck
Voyager-
with me when it comes to Star Trek, Jesse. You are nowhere
Now
near
you know
on my
how
level.
I feel, Jesse, when you do this to me.
Voyager-
You're not even
Isn't
close.
It frustrating?
Voyager,
Isn't it frustrating?
Voyager has a female captain, and I wonder if we know a female who could play with us, and we could kill her instead of me dying, and make an amazing
Are
series.
you trying to get
and
me
people
killed,
would
Jesse?
watch it.
Or are you saying for
All
Dodger?
I'm saying is, oh my God, TB. All I'm saying is, I get maybe 30, 40 messages a day asking if we're ever gonna play again, and I want to please help me. Please help me.
I have
Please
a
help me. I can
filter
only
to
say
make sure that I
talk
don't
TV.
see those messages.
I feel like this is the moment. This is the moment. We have to bring it back, TV.
I had
The
to do all the
kids want it.
fucking editing on that shit, so I have no doubt that you feel that it's a great idea.
Give me the footage. I'll make it amazing.
Let me
I'll
do
edit
it.
out all
I'll
my
have my
deaths.
editor. I'll have my
I'll
editor.
edit out
just do it.
all my deaths. Give me the footage. I will make it the best thing on YouTube. TV, give me the footage. I'll make it amazing. We'll have an intro. I'll get. Oh my God, we can get Julian or Dan or someone to make a Voyager intro. Oh shit, and I can be the sexy Borg lady, and you
No,
can be Captain
absolutely
Janeway.
not.
Oh my God, yes, yes, it needs to happen. Everyone on the internet needs to make this happen. We need to fund go to the White House webpage and create a petition
No,
What?
demanding that Total Biscuit
you're gonna put on a
plays
fucking watch
Terraria
list.
1.3. Go there right now. Create a White House petition. I will promote that. If we get, I think it's 75,000 people to sign to that, we can. The president has to answer. Guys, the president must answer this. We need Obama's opinion on this subject. I'm telling you, if we can get Obama in, TB has to join. He has to join.
I'm not a U.S. citizen. I don't recognize his authority. He can go to hell.
I'm just saying, it's a good start. It's a good start, Internet. We need to go there. The White House petition website.
Are you quite finished with your
I'll
ridiculous
never be
pitch?
quite finished.
Jesse, I know you like money, but seriously.
I'm just saying, I'll make that series. You don't have to do work. Just show up. Just show up and help me kill.
Oh,
Dodger
dealing with
over-
you is work, trust me.
Just saying, it
Times.
could be the best thing you ever were a part of.
Yeah, I'm sure
So
restarting
basically,
it for the
Jesse
fourth
wants
time
you guys
would be...
to petition so he can kill Dodger in a virtual world. Over and
There
over
are other
again.
games we could do that in.
What?
Lots of them.
It's not hard to kill me in any game. So.
I know. For once, I won't be the awful one. It's what I need. I need this.
But
I-
you do
I need
realize
You're Harry
these
Kim,
videos,
Jesse.
these videos would have to be split up between more than 2 channels then.
Oh, God.
That's fine.
Messy.
Fine.
That shit's messy, Jesse.
Not for me.
Jesse.
Not for me.
Jesse.
Not for me.
Jesse.
Look, not for me. I'll make it happen. God damn it. I'll make this happen. Fuck you. It's gonna happen. I'm gonna get the president on the fucking line. We're gonna fucking. This is gonna be like the talks with Iran. It's messy, but shit will get done in the end. That is happening. It's happening.
So Maggie, how have you been
Uh,
enjoying Terraria?
Terraria's been good. Oh my God, Jesse. I've also been trying to like check out Skyforge, which has been interesting. I haven't gotten a lot of experience with it yet, so I'm still checking it out and
I
seeing
think
what
they,
it's all
they
about.
pestered me to try and do some sort of like either just have like an early look at it. It's an MMO though, right?
Yeah, it's an MMORPG.
Yeah, that
They
would
have
be
like
why
13
I said
classes,
no.
or 16 classes. It's ridiculous.
Have you had a chance to actually play too much of it yet? What's it like?
I haven't gotten to play enough of it yet to really like talk about it. I don't know if I'm allowed. I guess it's an early access, right?
The open beta opens in 2 days, so I don't know, but by the time this show goes out on the channel, it will be July the 16th in 2 days. So
Ah.
you'll probably be fine.
Yeah.
I
It's-
can't be
it's
held
interesting.
responsible if you're not.
You're like, if you're not, then too bad. See
Nothing
ya.
to do with me.
Yeah, I haven't had enough experience with it yet, so I don't really want to talk too much about it, but it's something that I've been curious about. Obviously, I love MMOs, so I'm always trying to find like that new thing, but nothing's, making me bite yet. Just
Well,
sitting here waiting around.
I suppose the problem we currently have is that we got the sort of latest generation of MMOs. We got Elder Scrolls Online, we got WildStar. I guess that's probably about it, isn't it? And none of them really resonated
Well,
with all that many
Arcade
people.
was kind of had its moment for a bit there. I
Arcade.
played a lot
Didn't
of
that
Arcade.
become an absolute joke when it came to pay to win? That's what I heard, that there was a ridiculous
didn't
problem
really
with
have
the
like
economy.
a pay to win experience. It just, well, at least on my server, it just became kind of super crazy PvP, which is fun for a period of time, but like, yeah, I don't know.
I mean, the combat in this looks pretty flashy. I'm watching the open beta trailer at the moment. I was trying to
Of
figure out, it's
Arcade?
like, is this a fantasy game? And evidently not, because that appears to be a spider tank.
Yeah, well, I guess it's like fantasy sci-fi-esque, like combined.
Sort of fantasy punk, I guess.
Yeah, because like
Yeah.
there's like gods and stuff like that, so,
I mean, it looks interesting enough. I'm wondering what it does that other games don't do.
Oh, nothing.
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 Well,
Nothing.
hang on. How is Obsidian involved in this? Like, Obsidian is credited.
Yeah, they're their publisher, I believe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And it's made by the guys that made Allods, by the looks of it?
It is made by
Allods team.
Alad's team, yeah.
Yeah, so they made Allods Online. They're a Russian team, if I recall correctly. They have a nice office. Huh. That's quite swanky. That's really swanky. Allods must have done pretty damn well. But outside of that, though, yeah, it's been in development since 2010, so it's 5 years of development on this at this point. It looks fancy, I've got to admit, but I'm just trying to figure out, where's the rub? What exactly does it do better?
So far it hasn't done, look, there's nothing crazy different about it other than, I mean, it's very similar to any other MMORPG that you've played.
Yeah,
Just
it
new
uses
art
the
style, new world, that kind of
it
thing.
uses the action combat system, so kind of similar to Terra, I suppose, and Raiders and things like that. So you move around with WS and D, and you attack with the left and right mouse buttons for the most part, which I dig. Like I love that much better than pressing 2 and waiting 3 seconds and then pressing 2 again.
I think Vindictus, is that the game? Am I saying it right? I think that
Yes.
game like did it really well. Like I loved
Vindictus
the
was one of the
gameplay
first games
that.
to do that.
Yeah, I loved the gameplay of that, but the rest of the game was like,
Well,
because it's just repetitive.
there were
Like
problems
they
with
even had the maps
Vindictus.
where the maps would change, but I was like, I'm pretty much just doing the same thing over and over again.
Well, Vindictus had issues with hacking for a while. It also was, I think, published by Nexon, who are pretty legendary for being kind of awful with their business models. Also, Vindictus was really instanced, like, in my experience. Like, you went into these kind of small arenas, and the physics was kind of impressive. Like, I remember beating a monster up with a broom that I just picked up, and it was, or throwing
Yeah, you
barrels
could
at them.
pretty much pick up like anything that was in the area.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was
Was-
very instance based because you had like a one hub that you would stay in, and then you would just like go into these other
Yes.
instances
Yeah,
to do
that's-
levels.
That's what it
Was that-
reminds me of.
Was that the game? And God help me if I'm wrong, because I played so many MMORPGs. But was that the one where, if you were the guy who could create the golem, it would be created from things in the area that you summoned it? So you would create a golem, and then
Sounds
there was
about
like
right.
rocks and twigs on the ground, and like boulders and shit. The things in the area would
Probably.
make the golem that you summoned.
Yeah,
It was
Vindictus had a
awesome.
really impressive
I have
physics
no idea
system, so
about
it was
that.
probably that.
It was real cool. Like just random shit would make this big ass monster. I was really impressed by that. But it's a game that like, it was every time that you would go on to play, you wouldn't find any actual English speakers. So you'd be like, well, all right, guess I'll leave.
Yeah, I think there was actually quite a lot of Russian players playing Vindictus, if I recall correctly. I imagine there'll be quite a lot of Russian players playing this one as well, considering it's being... Well, it was published by Mail.ru. It's actually being co-developed by Obsidian. They're not just the publisher, according to this.
Nice.
Which is intriguing. It's a collaboration with Obsidian. I wonder... I mean, I would say they're maybe just doing localization, but Obsidian generally doesn't do that, so I guess they're probably involved in some way. You know, I might give it a try because the setting's a little bit interesting, but what I've also been told is that Allods was really bad when it came to its cash shop model, and this is another free-to-play, premium status, cash shop, multiple currencies sort of thing, which does concern me a little bit.
Yeah, and I think you unlock classes via that process or something like
really?
that too.
So you
yeah,
can't,
I don't, yeah.
So you can't play the basic class, whatever class you want from the start? That would be annoying.
I think you unlock extra
Right.
classes. Yeah.
Okay. We'll see. I mean, it looks pretty, but that means nothing. You know, ultimately, MMOs live or die by the amount of content they have and their business model. So I'll have a look at it. I think I've been offered access to it. So
they sent out like a bunch of streamers codes and stuff like that. I know they sent me a couple. But yeah, that's something that I'm interested in. I'm kind of like checking it out and seeing what's going on. But I have no big opinions on it yet because I don't like forming opinions until I play something a little bit longer.
Especially with an MMO.
MMO-wise, I've also been checking out the new raids and stuff like that in World of Warcraft. People know me. I always play a lot of World of Warcraft. But it's like I'm down to 1 night a week raiding, so I'm not as addicted as before. And then I've been checking out a lot of Broforce, and I know I've been watching a lot of people stream that. Wow, what's that new game? That car game that everyone's. Yeah,
Rocket League.
Rocket League shit.
Yeah,
I haven't played it personally because I'm just like I don't think I'd be very good at this or have as much fun. But I like watching it, so I've been watching a lot of people playing that.
Yeah, it's like really surprising to me how many people are like, "Oh, damn, you gotta play Rocket League," and I'm like, that doesn't look fun to me. Like so many people really enjoy it, and I'm like, maybe there's something that I wouldn't understand unless I'm playing it, but like, it doesn't look like a game that I would enjoy at all.
I'm not into it, and I know a lot of people are, but I started playing it, and I came to this conclusion, it's like, that's it? You know, I was expecting maybe a little bit more. It's
quite
like literally...
Arena, you just drive around and use your
and
abilities.
I mean, it's football with cars,
people,
you know?
Yeah.
And you got a boost, and you can kind of do a flip, and you unlock little cosmetic parts for your vehicle almost consistently. Like, there's a lot of customization in that game. And, I mean, that's it. It's a football game with cars. It's nothing more, nothing less. And I then went and played it with Cry on stream. And because people were saying, no, you got to play it with friends, man. You know, you don't understand. This game's not any good unless you play it with friends. And I still wasn't really into it. So I guess it's just not my sort of game because loads of people fucking love it.
That type of gameplay. Speaking of football gameplay, Blood Bowl 2... looks so good.
It's so fun. Dude, have you played it yet? Or?
Yeah, I played at E3 or not. Was it E3? Yeah, E3. And I was just having like, I was like, can I just like keep playing? I don't think the guy was gonna let me though, but I was having a ton of fun with it. Good.
we played until they literally were shutting down the floor and were like, get out of here. And I was like, but I'm not done with my game.
Yeah, they have a whole storyline for like single player too, which is pretty cool.
It's so fun. We all have played a lot of just regular Blood Bowl and Blood Bowl 2.
A little bit too much regular Blood Bowl.
Yeah, too much regular Blood Bowl.
I think we just absolutely hated each other at the end of that series.
Yeah.
I didn't realize, like, I didn't get like super into it. I watched you guys like do your little competition stuff against each other, and I was like, that doesn't really look like something I'm like interested in playing. Like, I'm not really into like sports stuff, but I was dying laughing at like the animations that they have in there and like the tacticalness of it because I love tactical stuff, but I didn't like think about that in like sports. I don't know why, but I guess it's just because I don't play a lot of sports games. But I think the
Blood Bowl's
fantasy
barely a sports game at this point. I mean, it's more of a board game, really. I mean, it literally was a board game, and they translated it 1-for-1. And Blood Bowl 2 appears more like a sports game just because they put a bit of effort into the animations. In Blood Bowl 1, the animations were just awful. Like, really not very well put together at all. It didn't give you the feeling that it was an actual sport. But Blood Bowl 2 looks a hell of a lot better.
Oh, yeah, and like the stadium has like tiers to it, so like the crowd just gets bigger and stuff. It's cool.
Yeah, I like the idea of upgrading your stadium by sucking less, essentially, and building up a crowd and things like that. That's awesome. And just flattening people.
Evangelizing little Skittles.
Oh, no, just
I want to play. I want to play very badly.
Well, I heard rumors that maybe someone had talked to people involved and maybe that we might get in a bit earlier, maybe. So we'll see.
Nice.
Just saying.
That's
I wanna
awesome.
play
Yeah,
very
I
good.
was
Oh, the
having.
salt will be unlimited.
Unlimited salt.
I already have a strategy. I have a strategy. Last time I thought quick and fragile.
Last time you
was
thought,
the
let's
way to
play
go.
Wood Elves, and then we just crushed your bones. It was lovely. We ran
You gotta
over
be
you.
a dwarf. The dwarves.
This
are the
time
best.
I'm changing my strategy. My strategy, I'm not even gonna mention it. I'm just saying I can't wait to play again.
If
I'm
he's
down.
playing dwarves, that's going to be the worst. Dwarves
Not-
literally just grind
Oh,
you into the
yeah.
field. It's awful.
And they can't pick up the balls that well.
No, but they don't need to when they've killed everybody else on the opponent's team. Then they just
That's
sort of
true.
run it in. It's just...
You could be like a dark elf. Dark elves are pretty awesome.
It's
they
not-
kind of have like a.
I've determined it's not about scoring points this time around. It's about
Oh,
making everyone
no.
else suffer. It's not. I don't even care if I win. It's about destroying every other team. I don't even care.
He's playing chaos. I could see it coming.
I think they allow you to make your own, like team too.
Yeah. So what you
Yeah.
can do is you start off with a team value, which is generally for a start of a league at 1,000. So it gives you 1,000 team values worth of stuff. So you buy players, and then your team value gradually increases as your players gain levels and traits, and you hire better players in the next season, and so on and so forth. So it works kind of that way. And for some of us, that was great. For others, half their team ended up dead or badly injured by the end of the season, so it wasn't really working out too well for them.
Yeah, but like
So fun,
they,
though.
they also sort of even it out by being like, okay, your team is worth way less because you don't have enough people, so hire some star players and
Yeah.
things like that.
Yeah,
so that
you get
helps out.
inducements and things like that.
Yeah.
The star players are apparently even better in Blood Bowl too, because they all have the sort of individual personalities and move sets and all sorts
They're
of things
very
like that.
silly. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're really cool.
Well, the star players are also intense. They have like crazy stuff that they can do, or they have like a giant bulldozer that they can just like bulldoze you. You're like, what is this? It's
Yep.
awesome though, and the animations that are like really good. They crack me up too much, and the announcers are funny too.
That's supposed to come out in September.
Yeah,
I don't know
believe
when
so.
that.
Mark.
But it looks pretty playable right now, doesn't it? I mean, the build that people were playing at E3 was fairly complete, for what we could tell. But they delayed the game. There was a bit of a controversy because a few days ago they released a trailer that said, "Oh, if you pre-order, you get a bonus race." And then people were like, "Whoa!"
It was Lizardmen, wasn't
yeah,
it?
Lizardmen was
Oh,
one of them.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think Wood Elves might have been the other one, possibly. So people were pretty pissed off about that. And
Yeah.
I actually spoke to them, and what they said was, I don't know if this is necessarily an excuse, they delayed the game, which meant that they had time to put more races in, so they ended up doing a pre-order bonus as a result. I believe
They talked about that at E3 too.
yeah, something like that. So I'm not 100% sure what's going on with that. It doesn't seem as sinister as it initially appears, but I do want to look a little bit more into it. Like, it's always nasty to see what appears to be day one DLC. Although
Yeah.
there are excuses that, look, we delayed it 3 months, which is why we have time to make more. But there's only a limited budget. I had words with them at one point, and they actually told me how much it costs to make each race. And I was like, holy crap. It's like, yeah, it costs
Yeah.
this much. I'm like, fuck me.
Well, I mean, from the development side of that, because I've been there
You've
before.
done it, yeah.
Yeah, especially if you're not like just taking a model that's already created, like for Lizardmen especially, like they're creating like a full new model for each of the races. Actually, they're very different in shape and size, so it's not like they're just taking a human and then like reorganizing it. They're like
Respinning it.
they're making a whole new model, and that requires a lot of work. And then on top of that, any gear that they want to put on them takes work, and then animations and textures. It's just a lot that goes into it.
Yeah. I mean, which is why the game doesn't release with all the races, because they literally can't afford it. It's not like it's some big company. So that's their reason for it. 3 months extra development time is 3 months extra salaries for everybody on the team, costs for the office, ancillary costs, marketing, everything. So that's apparently why. But we'll see when it comes out as to exactly how many races the game has by default and how
It doesn't
many
matter
they're
how
gonna
many
make
races
DLC.
it has. It's already fun. So
Oh, I have no doubt that it's
I'm like
fun.
content where it is right now.
I bet they don't start
They
with
just
Chaos
give this
Dwarves,
to
though.
me.
My favorite team for stomping people into the ground.
The dwarves are so awesome.
Chaos
And then like
Dwarves are
they'll have
better.
like jugs of alcohol with them and it just cracks me up.
Yeah, I know at E3 they didn't have Amazons, and I was like, but Amazons.
Amazons are pretty
Hopefully-
awesome.
Hopefully Amazons are available someday, even if they're not available at the very beginning.
Yeah, I imagine so. What else have we been playing this week?
All the things.
Apparently not. Jesse, what have you been playing this week? Or Dodger apparently has an
No,
idea.
go for it, Jesse.
Jesse, what have you been playing this week?
Aside from the usual like channel stuff, I have been. There's 2 games I played a bunch. First off, Guild of Dungeoneering. I love that
so
game.
Fun.
I think
It
it just
just
came out
came
either
out
today
today.
or
Oh,
yesterday. Yeah,
It's
Yeah,
really
it's
good.
out today.
I
so
played
fun.
it before it launched and had a lot of fun. They actually tweeted at me because while I was playing it, I was like, "You need to make all the names editable. I need to be able to edit the names. I want to be able to name them after my Twitch viewers." And he was just like, "All right, okay." Later, they tweeted at me. They're like, "And now you can rename your like heroes."
Aw, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
It's cool.
Yeah. It's a fun game. The simplest explanation is it's a game where you are both dungeoneer and dungeonee, and you create a guild.
Those aren't real words.
They are now.
No.
You create a guild, and your whole objective is to defeat an other better guild because they're assholes, and you want to be a more well-known guild.
You want to be the very
And-
best like no one ever was, basically.
Yes. And so you recruit random people from like the mime to the chump to the brawler to the cat burglar, all these different things, and you send them into dungeons. And then as they go through the dungeon, your objective is there's like objectives in the corner, and it's either collect chests or kill 3 guys or defeat the boss, whatever it is. And you need to get them to the objectives, but also level them up in the process as you create the dungeon. And so your little guy goes wherever either a chest is or some type of loot or in the path of where the final like objective is. And so you need to manipulate them and move them around this new dungeon you're creating to level them up so by the time they get to the objective, they're good enough to beat it. And so that's probably the hardest part for me because I started, the people who watch my Fan Friday are going to be sad. I started with a character named Oiri, who is a chump. Got her through like, I would say 12 dungeons. Finally came across a dude who just was like, and like fucking wrecked her. And I was like,
No.
and so she went into my
Aw.
graveyard and I was like, no. So now I have a new one who's called like Aaron G. So Aaron G, I'm like, oh, you're not Oiri, you suck. But yeah, no, you lose a lot of characters. Sometimes you get totally screwed.
It
And it's
reminds
like-
me. It reminds me of like if you got addicted to Darkest Dungeon like I did. It's like that,
Yeah.
but less hardcore to some extent.
Yeah, a lot
but
less.
more building because you're actually building stuff. Whereas like in Darkest Dungeon, the dungeons are kind of like built for you and everything. But it's very similar in the sense like you take your heroes in, you have a mission, an overall mission, but you can like do all these side things if you want. Like if you see treasure chests, but your main objective is to kill a boss, you can like go over there, get the chest. But if you die on the way over there, you're not going to complete your end mission.
Right.
So it's very similar in that sense. But I love it. It's so good.
It's
I-
such a fun game.
I did try it, and I don't think I played it for long enough because the opening to me was incredibly dull. The combat system in particular is like, play these cards. I'm like, and every single fight is like, there's no strategy here because you basically you barely got any cards to begin
To
with.
start with, yeah.
Yeah. So it seems like I've got to get through the early game, which is mind numbing, in order
think
to
they
actually
made
be
it-
interested in it.
But I think they made it easier early game because there's a lot of people whenever you just like toss them into chaos, they're just like, "What's up? Cards. I don't know what to do." And
And
if
later
it's
on-
like anything you do will kind of get you to that point, you'll slowly learn the process and strategy, you know.
Yeah, later on, as you unlock stuff of your guild, you unlock vendors. And so they unlock new cards and new weapons and new items. And so as you play, the variety increases, and each one of those weapons and items have more cards that you can unlock in combat. So when you equip new stuff to you, you unlock new cards for combat. And so eventually, come up with like a wide variety of things that you can do, and you're gonna need it because some of the bosses are dickholes. Just the worst asses who ever lived. There's one, I think it's like in the second map, Embro or whoever like the little like impish demon lord is.
A little,
What
yeah.
a dick! He, no matter what, it took me forever to beat him because he was just like, now I'm gonna cast 50 things at you. But luckily I had a shield that blocked 3 damage every time. So every time I drew that card, it was like, what up, bitch? It was so good. So good. That game's fun.
Yeah, I'll have another shot at it. It
Sounds
didn't
like
give me that good first impression. It was like just so dull in the first 20 minutes. I'm like, I can't be bothered right now. But I'll go back to it and give it another bash.
Yeah, it's one of those games where like you got to get through the first bit. But even at that, like I think if you're not interested in that style of like strategic, like slower paced gameplay, then
I'm
maybe
okay
it's
with
not
that.
like if you
The
want
problem
like
is that the start doesn't have any
chaos.
strategy because there are no choices to make. You know, it's with the things like the item attack cards and everything. It's literally just pick the best one.
Yeah.
And put money in this room and so on and so forth. Yeah. But I imagine that once
But
you get
some
more
people
cards, it's going to get more
don't
complex.
realize that because like if you put like well I think like for people who play a lot of games and have done a lot of strategy games, I think it's probably pretty simple. But for some other people who maybe like put the gold in the wrong room or something like that, it could make their character like go into a place where they shouldn't and they could die. You know what I mean? So it's like I don't yeah.
Fair enough.
But maybe it doesn't.
I'll-
I don't remember like low levels and how that was.
Yeah. Other than that, which I love that game. I finally downloaded the open beta for World of Warships because
Yes.
am super excited about that, and it is already ultra competitive. Holy crap! The people in that are like super skilled. I was like, I'm gonna dick around in my my 1918 cruiser that has like 2 guns and like see what this is like. There's like shit coming at you from every direction. Oh my god! I will say,
I was watching streams of it. It looks like really intense, way more intense than watching World of Tanks
World of
is.
Tanks. Oh,
Yeah.
and I think more than World of Warplanes. I think like all of those have their own things that people love, but this to me
I
is
don't
like
think
the
many
sweet
people love
spot.
World of Warplanes. I'm sorry.
Oh.
That did not do well.
I don't play it, so I have no clue. But
It's not very good.
What I do know is that the tactics in this game, the way it plays, the like slower nature of it, when shit does happen, it's like the craziest 5 minutes of your life. It's all about like, all right, we're gonna position, we're gonna
It's
do this.
the
we're gonna send this
build-up
out.
though. The build-up
Yeah.
is so slow in that game.
Oh, see, that's what I like. I like the strategy and the build up and the planning and the waiting. And like if you're with the team and you are all on the same page, when you finally unleash hell, it's the best fucking experience of your life. Like, yeah, like ships are exploding. There was one battle where we were I think I was in a cruiser at the time. It might have been a destroyer, I'm not sure what. But so as I'm getting shot at, I'm clearly dead. Like shit is coming at me from all. I just release torpedoes. My ship like my torpedoes are still in the water. And the ship comes right across the torpedoes and I just blow it up and I was like, that was the coolest effing thing. It was like a post-death victory. It felt so good. Like everyone in chat was like, they're still in the water. They're still in the water. We're just like losing our minds because it was the one moment of like battle changing. It was so good. I love that game. I think it's great. I'm still not a huge fan of the way they do like buy this and get this and then get this. But I like that.
Yes, the progression system is irritating in that game, like it is in
I like
all
the
of their
core
games.
concept. I like the core concept of the game. I like that many of the ships are silly as shit. Like it's almost laughable what they considered like battleships in the early 1900s because they're basically cruise ships with a few guns on the side.
Yeah.
They're ridiculous looking. I'm like, that's mine. That's the one I'm using. It's great. It's really fun. But yeah, Maggie's right. It is a lot of slow build-up. Unless you play like an aircraft carrier where you're micromanaging 50 fucking things at once, like planes, and you're doing this and this and this. You really, at the beginning, you're just like, I'm going to set up. I'm going to be patient. I'm going to wait. I'm going to do all this stuff.
It's
I'm going to
just
try and
so
hide
slow.
trajectories and things. Yeah. But I like that stuff. That's where I'm at. That's how I used to play StarCraft 2 until I realized you don't win that way. But I'd be like,
I think
this
like the
and this
main thing
this.
too with World of Warships is like there's a lot of learning. Like the learning curve is intense.
Which is
So
surprising
if you're
because
first starting to play, don't just, I mean, you're gonna be like, what do I do? What did they just do? What's happening? Where do I, like, you're
Oh,
right.
You have-
yeah.
I mean, you
People
have
that
to
watched
learn-
my first stream, like when it first came into closed beta, when I was able to stream it,
I
know
think I might have been
exactly what
watching
that
it.
means. I was awful. I unbelievably bad. You'd think, oh, well, there's not much to this game. You literally have like a fire button and a couple of other things and you move. Ah, no.
Well, it's
No,
like
no.
other people who are playing with you clearly know what's going on, and you're just like, I don't know what's going on. And so you think like, hey, I only have these couple things that I can do, but then you see somebody do something to you, and you're like, what did they just do? What happened
When
to
I first
me?
got torpedoed, that was it, because I literally just died in 2 seconds. So
You're
what
like,
the fuck
what
happened?
happened?
Yeah,
Yeah.
what?
Torpedoes are hardcore. Torpedoes are like game changing in that. If you can get one off and you don't detect it, you're F. That's why like it's all about positioning and knowing where to turn your ship and when to turn your ship. Like sometimes there was one guy I was playing with, torpedoes are coming right at him, but the spread of the torpedoes, all he did was turn his ship from the side straight, and the torpedoes went right past him. It was the straightest G thing I've ever seen. I was like, holy shit! Like it's all about knowing the ship you're playing. And I guess that comes from, like, I never did this in World of Tanks, but everyone always said, like, you need to know your tank and you need to know the vectors of where you fire and what, like,
Oh, that was even worse in
plating
War
on-
Thunder because they didn't use a hit point model. They literally used realistic armor modeling. So if you could get hit in precise places where something would penetrate your tank, and then it actually simulated the entire explosion. And because if your crew members got hit by the simulated shrapnel, they'd be knocked unconscious and shit like that. So it's like, yeah, you need to know every tank basically. I'm like, this is insane. This is ridiculous. Especially when you die in one shot. World of Tanks isn't like that.
I really enjoy in warships is when you pull off crazy shit, they give you flags to put on your ship. And so every once in a while you come across a guy who has like, wait, that's all these flags, and you're like, I want him on my team, please. And he's just like
It's
this.
like, he's getting torpedoed first. That fucking
whoever
right there.
this guy
Get
is,
him.
that guy's super dead. Yeah, it's great. I have a lot of fun. I will say though that it's a game that I'm nowhere near as good as I need to be in order to like really appreciate it. Because holy crap, those dudes are.
Are you gonna go
hard.
MLG, Jesse? Jesse's gonna be
Nope.
in the next
Nope.
World of.
Not even gonna. No.
I would watch that. I would watch the ship esports, absolutely.
I mean, they already have a World of Tank series. I don't see why not if it got competitive
Oh, yeah.
enough.
Man,
I always
I
forget
tried
I think
watching that.
if the viewership was there, people might.
Every time there's like a World of Tanks tournament
gets
on, I'm like, I'm gonna watch it. I'm
interesting
gonna put it
viewership,
on.
yeah.
I'll see if it catches my interest.
It's so
Really the
slow.
best part. Yeah, it's very slow, but the best part for me is that almost always the people who are commentating it, one of them will like make the other one uncomfortable all the time, and it makes me so happy. Like one of them will make a joke and the other one won't know what to do, and I'm like, just talk, man, just talk through.
Yeah.
Just talk through
I
the
love when
embarrassment.
Pansy's
and they won't
casting.
do it.
She's like, I like when she casts, but yeah, I don't know. It's a hard. I don't know. I just can't watch it that much.
No, there's a lot of nothing happening in whatever I've seen. I remember first watching it when NASL did the World of Tanks League before they shut down, and I tried to watch it, but the first like 5 minutes of the game were like, well, so the light tanks are kind of scouting around, and the other guys are just sort of hiding in a city somewhere, and then someone exploded, and then eventually something would happen.
That is legit. Like that is something that the players when you're especially in warships, if you go in and you're like, we should be attacking, the first thing that they'll yell at you about is like, bruh, calm down. It's all about strategy and position. Make them come to us. And of course, the other team's thinking the exact
It's doing the same thing, so they just sit there.
It's like 20 minutes of just waiting and like,
Dude.
oh, did you see that? Did you see that over there? But it's real. But when you're playing, it's very tense. You're like, oh my god, is that them around that cove? Oh my god, and then when it finally happens, like I said, it's 5 minutes of the craziest, just like, I don't even know what's going on. Oh my god.
Yeah, 'cause everyone just loses it. It's like, oh shit. What's the quote? The best laid plans don't survive first contact with the enemy, I think is the term.
Yep.
Yeah,
It makes
That's
me
a
think of like
lot of
CS:GO.
thinking.
CS:GO has a lot of moments like that where it's like super slow and like someone's just sitting there camping, like you're just watching people sit there,
and then shit goes
and then
down.
all hell breaks loose.
Yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely. I might put some time into it. The problem is, like, the kind of tiered ships that I'm looking at really wanting to play. It's like the Iowa class tier 9 battleship. I'm like, that's like 300 hours of gameplay, isn't it? Like, I'm not going to do that. And I know that if it was anything like War Thunder's pricing model, you could kind of buy yourself into certain tiers, but one, the ship, and in the case of War Thunder, the tank that you got would be fucking awful. And secondly, it would cost a fortune. Like, there were tanks in that game that cost $65 plus on their own. I'm like, no, this is insane. I can't. Plus, of course, if you buy into a tier like that, you end up being matched up with people in that tier who just crush you. Because they got there honestly, and you're a dirty, cheating bastard, and you're no good. You're useless. Absolutely useless.
You know what game I would love to see kind of casted? And I don't know if it'll ever happen either, is Dreadnought. I freaking love Dreadnought.
Oh,
it's like space,
yes.
It's spaceships instead of like ships. But
yeah, but it's actually like in a planet's atmosphere mostly, isn't it, Dreadnought?
Yeah.
Well,
It's
there's different
so
maps.
fun.
Like there's one that's in space, but it's in a contained like area. But I played a bunch of it so far, and there's a bunch
there's like
of maps.
3 or 4 maps.
Yeah. But it's cool. It's definitely a really cool game. I like all the different ships. I found a ship that I love. I can't remember what it is, but it's the one that goes invisible. Whatever that
me
ship
too.
is,
I'm
that is my
so good at that
jam.
one.
That ship is
No,
my jam.
I am so good at that one because I get up behind people and I'm like, I use the rocks because like some maps will have like rocks or like whatever, some kind of formation or something you can hide behind, and I just like peek up and rock them, and then I like run away.
Yeah, I don't even know how you would describe that game. It's like
It's capital ship battles, essentially.
So
but
you have like a
it's-
healing ship, you have like a sniper ship, you have the big tank.
There's
ship.
another game like that you can play at the moment that's called, I think, Fractured Space, and I played a bit of that, and it gave me a very similar vibe, and it was pretty good. Like, you've got to be used to playing ships that are really, really slow for the most part. You know, these are lumbering things.
See, and in Dreadnought, it's very different. So
is it quicker?
you can, depending on
only
the ship.
Only the Dreadnought is a
The
well, the
big- yeah, the
Dreadnought and then the one
Dreadnought
that's
is
like a
huge.
giant cannon. But
Yeah.
other than that, all the other ships are like, I would say like what's the ship
The
from
repair ship, the little
Deep
repair
Space
ship
Nine?
is pretty fast.
The Defiant.
Yeah, it's like the one that Maggie and I are talking about is like a little Defiant, where it's just you're like
I'd fly the shit out of that.
It's
Yeah,
awesome.
and-
It's cool as
and
shit.
it's so cool. You
It's a-
basically you can't cloak for like a prolonged period of time, but you get yourself to like a location and then kind of like chill there and then use it to like hide away,
But what you can
and then
do
you
is
just
you can
spurt a lot of damage.
yeah, you can change your shields where your shields are. You can turn your shields off. You can put it all into your cloak. You can put it all into weapons. You can put it all into engines. So you can change everything about, like, there's a lot of hotkeys. It's kind of like back in the TIE Fighter days when there's like 15 hotkeys to make that TIE Fighter go. It's
Oh,
just
man.
like
I
that.
remember streaming X-Wing
think all of
Alliance
them
and just
have
tried to
a
learn
boost.
everything. It was ridiculous.
I think all of them have like a boost ability as well.
Mhm.
It's like it's on the same things that your shield is on, right, Jesse? Yeah,
Yeah,
because there's
yeah,
like a
that
shield
red-
thing. There's like a little radio that you can turn your shields on and off, and then I think there's a boost for every class. So even if you are in the big tanky one, you can boost for a short period of time, but you like don't want to use that very often.
I don't know if it survived the Twitch like I guess 6 months is how long Twitch videos stay up on your thing. I have no idea how it is, but maybe if you're lucky and it's still there, there's like 4 hours of me playing Dreadnought from PAX East on my Twitch, so it may
Me
still be
too.
there. Yeah, it may be
'Cause
there
I
if you guys are
went-
curious about that game.
I went to their booth and I thought their live stream setup at their booth was awesome too.
Yeah, I felt bad because when I first sat down, we were doing great, but then everyone I was playing with like got up and left, and the people who came in were all new, and I was like, no. So I had
Oh,
to
that's
reteach
hard.
everyone. So literally, it's just me staring at the camera, trying to be really nice and not angry at the people around me, just like. The guys across from us have been playing together all day, and so we were just getting destroyed the last half, and I was like, I gotta go my Invisi ship and just win this myself then. All right. It's so good. But yeah, the audio is probably awful. Because it
Oh,
was
yeah.
live at PAX, so it's probably the worst audio you've ever heard. But I would
Yeah, I'm just
say
watching
that,
Angry Joe's gameplay that he got from PAX South that was pretty good.
yeah, visually it's amazing. It was really really fun. The PAX South, the PAX South gameplay was level was different than the one from PAX East. So there's definitely a bunch of different maps. But for people wondering, yes, even in the map that was kind of spacey, there's a floor and there's a ceiling.
Yes.
So you can only go up so high, you can only go down so low. and there are things that you can run into and blow your ass up. The good thing is, like if you're a Dreadnought, for example, slowest ship in the game, but it has a like warp jump, so you can move and then jump to a point further away, which is awesome. So you
I
can
think all
sort
of
of
them have that,
strategize.
though, right? Maybe they'll have boost, and the warp jump is just specific to that.
Yeah, the warp jumps for the Dreadnought.
Yeah. Which I found that for the Dreadnought, whenever like your whole team was like, all right, we're going in, and they're all set up, then you warp like into the middle and then just cause chaos because they're all gonna shoot at you and be like, what's going on? Like your job is to distract them pretty much. Or get in between like if you see one of your guys dying, you can like get in between them and like tank. Be like, what's up, bro?
Out or is it early access?
I don't think you can even play it right now.
Yeah.
It doesn't even have a publicly accessible beta. I mean, the footage that I just showed was from 4 months ago and it's pre-alpha. I mean, it's a good
it's gone
looking
off
pre-alpha.
Twitch. I was
It
looking
looks
for mine.
super
I'm like,
cool,
it's
though.
gone.
I was like,
Yeah.
I would try that out, but
Yeah.
It's
There
very
is something
cool.
you
It's
can play right
definitely-
now called Fractured Space, which is quite similar, although I've got to say, like, the art design of Dreadnought in particular is really attractive to me. Like, it's got just these huge ships, weapons bristling everywhere. I love the way that the missile launchers work. It's like, oh no, we're not going to fire 2 missiles, we're going to fire like 18, and they've got
Yes,
18 tubes that just like fire
Well, you
them
have
up.
like 2 different options. So like you have one where you can shoot like the smaller amount, and then like you have an Uber ability that
Kinda
you use
Alpha
to like
Strike,
to launch.
Yeah,
It depends on the
so
ship though.
Maggie will probably know that when you play as the invisible ship, what would happen is the whole point would be like, where is their healer? Find their healer. And so I would just like sneak
Or their
around the map
snipers.
invisible and just wait until I found
That ship
either
is
the
a
sniper
spy.
ship, and I would just be invis, and then I come up right behind them and unload my ultimate. All
and they
these
just
missiles, and the healer ship would
explode.
just explode. You'd be like, that's one. I'm coming for the rest of you. It's so good to go invisible again and just zip off. The problem is
You
if they
are
see
really-
you go invisible, they can follow your ass. So you have to be real sneaky about how you
And
do
if they
it.
shoot at you, like your invisibility will slowly like digress. So like you can't. Yeah.
Oh, it's fun.
You
game.
have to be really sneaky with it, but oh, it's so good.
Yes, there is a healer ship. It's a ship that blasts a green beam
It repairs,
that
yeah.
heals other ships. It's a repair ship.
Of course there would be a repair ship, I mean, really.
It also does damage, so depending on who you like, if you use the repair thing on like an enemy, it'll actually do damage to them.
oh, interesting.
Yeah.
It's not much, but it is like it is needed.
Hey, it'll do
That's
the
a lot.
job. I got kills on it.
All right, why don't we
It's
take
cool.
a break, and then when we come back, we'll talk a little bit more about the games that we've been playing this week, including, of course, Holy Potatoes, a weapon shop.
Right. Yes, good.
Just
Of course.
Just saying, like that game
course.
exists. I can tell you about it.
Oh,
In the
yeah, I saw you
meantime,
tweet about that.
yes, it unfortunately has a problem, but we'll talk about that after the break. We have a new ad, of course, from our sponsor, Crunchyroll.com/TotalBiscuit. Thank you very much for them supporting the show, making sure that everyone on the show actually gets paid, except the guest. Guest doesn't get paid. Just saying.
Where's
Like-
my money, TP?
Yo, where my money?
Better got my money. All right. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back after this. Don't go anywhere. Dodger, you have an encyclopedic knowledge of information useless in the grand scheme of things. Get in here.
Ugh, TB, you're interrupting my master plan.
Which is...
Weaponized mochi.
Okay, well, that can wait for a minute. See, I've been rewatching Kenshin again, and I'm looking for things similar to it. Interesting setting, hero on a quest for redemption, high stakes, a little bit of comedy relief, and of course some ridiculous fight scenes with ludicrous power creep. There's gotta be something else on Crunchyroll. What should I watch?
Well, if you love Kenshin, you should probably try out Ushio and Tora. It's a remake of an old early 90s anime about a guy who accidentally uncovers a monster in his family's cellar, and then it begins a tale of fighting evil spirits with the legendary Beast Sword.
Well, I suppose it's got the battling evil thing in it, so it's a bit similar. You got any other ideas?
Okay, well, what about Aoharu X Machine Gun? It's about a girl who's mistaken for a boy and then winds up joining a BB gun group.
That does not sound anything like Kenshin whatsoever.
Okay. I have heard that there's this really awesome anime called Food Wars.
God damn it. This was all just a plan to remind me of the existence of Food Wars, wasn't it?
Look, watch Food Wars or I'm leaving the podcast.
Son of a...
Crunchyroll, all the anime you can handle straight from Japan, professionally subtitled in high definition. Sign up for your free trial today at crunchyroll.com/TotalBiscuit. That's crunchyroll.com/TotalBiscuit and enjoy infinite anime, the best kind of anime. Also, Food Wars, a tale of samurai honor set in historical Japan in which a fallen hero must seek a path of
He's
redemption.
lying! It's not like that at all! People's clothes fly off and there's a pervy squid thing!
Crunchyroll.com/TotalBiscuit. Sign up for your free trial today.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Co-Optional Podcast.
Hi.
Do you have a good break? Was it fun?
I got raisins. I didn't know we had raisins at the office.
That's exciting.
I know, so exciting. On the cover, they're like, hey, you should make shapes with these. And I was like, that's not how I'm going to use them at all.
Why would you do that?
She's like, I'm going to shove them in my mouth.
I'm going to literally just put all of them in my mouth at once.
I was thinking what I could have for lunch. I was like, yeah, I probably should have some lunch. Like, I don't have time, so I just ate 6 pieces of salami out of the packet and went back upstairs. Like, it's the best thing I could come up with.
Yep.
That sounds right.
Yeah, why not? Why not?
Mm-hmm.
Oh dear. You'd think I was a horrible bachelor or something along those lines.
Not all bachelors. Not all
Are
bachelors.
horrible.
are
Hashtag not
horrible.
all bachelors.
Yeah, that's why I stopped. I was like, this would be a good hashtag.
Oh, you knew I was going to jump on that immediately. Oh dear. Did you hear the story about, I think it was in Inverness, I think it was a small newspaper in Inverness reported that barmen have had to stop wearing kilts because they keep getting groped by female bartenders. Bar
What?
patrons. Yep.
What?
I kid you not. Yep. They can't wear kilts anymore because
They can't wear kilts
too many
anymore.
drunken 40-year-old women keep trying to grope them. There you go. Hashtag not all women.
I'll
Hashtag
take
not
that
all
for the
kilts.
team. Guys,
Not all kilts.
guys, you take the night off. I'll handle this. I'll take it for the team.
Hashtag not all Jesse.
No,
Hashtag
yes, all
yes,
Jesse.
yes, all Jesse.
Yes,
Hashtag
all
yes, all
Jesse.
Jesse.
Yeah, okay, all right. Jesus. I was just amused to see it was just some tiny little Inverness newspaper reporting this, and it ended up all over the internet. There was a place that we used to go on holiday in Scotland. We went there every single year. And there was a little town about 10 miles away called Creetown. Tiny little place, but it had its own newspaper. But of course, it's fucking Creetown. Nothing happens. So, the biggest story one week was a shed burned down. Like, just this little shed. And another one was apparently, this person has too many hamsters. I kid you not. It's like more hamsters than is usual for people that have hamsters.
How many
Yes.
hamsters is too many hamsters?
Not 100% sure, but apparently it was more than the average amount of hamsters. And this
I like
caused
how
that was
that's
concern.
your
like-
question.
Well,
How
I'm
many
curious
hamsters
now.
Is too many.
Because, like, we've seen,
No,
like,
I would wanna
crazy
know,
cat
too.
ladies when there's, like, a million cats in a
I wonder if
house.
they have
Like,
a
is it a
website.
million
But
hamsters?
hamsters are pretty small.
Yeah, they're small. So, like, how many hamsters does it take to be, like, overbearing? I mean,
One.
if you're a crazy hamster person.
Ah, yes, we're going to nuke this website, I can pretty much guarantee it. But the Galloway Gazette. So currently the top newspaper in the Galloway Gazette is car overturns on street. Another big one is we have a bell. Creetown Bell is unveiled, which is very
Yes.
exciting. Very good. They have all sorts of incredible things going on. You know, it's probably one of the most peaceful places in the world. Like this is the worst thing
Aliens.
that happens.
Aliens.
No, they've launched a farm theft investigation.
Oh,
People are thieving farms.
Someone stole a farm?
You stole
an
a
entire
big-
farm! Holy shit!
That's big news.
How do you steal an entire farm? Like,
That's from farms
oh,
specifically.
okay.
No, I refuse to believe that. I believe that up there, farm theft, actual whole farms, is a real thing.
A bike was stolen from a farm.
A bike? What, a pedal
between
bike?
between 6 p.m. Thursday and 10 a.m. Friday.
Nope.
Dun dun dun.
Oh shit!
Hey, I've had my bike stolen before. It sucks.
It does
It
suck.
does.
I'm not sure if it was
sucks. I
newsworthy,
used
but
to
it does
ride
suck.
my bike for like in college because I didn't live that far away from the college. But
Mhm.
someone took everything except for my front tire and my like handlebars.
Except the front tire.
Yeah, like the front
Because it was
tire that's
connected
Was that
with
what
the
was?
hand-
I was
that
gonna
was
say,
what
was
was
that what was
changed.
tied to the lock or something along those lines? Is that
sucks.
why? Yeah.
I just didn't really think someone was gonna like. I didn't know I had to like wire it down. People were gonna fucking take the whole bike with
God.
them. What do you do?
Farmers-
How does someone walk away from a bike rack with only half a bike? That's what I want to know. How does someone
Well, I
like?
imagine it's easier than
factory
walking away with a
stuff is
full
not
bike. It
noticed.
weighs less.
Yeah, but like, how does someone not notice? Be like, I wonder.
I'm
where the
sure
rest
they
of that
did
bike
notice. They
is
probably just
comparing.
didn't care. And like they're not gonna stop someone that does that.
I got this tire. I need a bike. They just-
I'm still
I don't
I'm
need
still
two
stuck.
tires.
I'm still stuck on this website. Another one that is new says farmers sing milk's praises.
Yes, indeed. It's a new
And
milk
it says,
promotion campaign.
Yeah, they a bunch of different representatives of farms came out and promoted the Milk Must Have a Future campaign.
Yes.
I like milk.
Goddamn
Oh, God.
almonds.
You're not allowed to
likes
endorse
them?
products on this show without an official sponsorship agreement. Don't do it. Don't give milk free publicity.
No milk.
Big Milk, they've got a lot of money. They could send a little bit our way. Come on, Big Milk.
Yeah, man. Oh, Big Milk. I would dress up like a cow for you.
You just do that on Friday nights
Ooh.
anyway. You don't need an
Ooh,
excuse.
that's- Furry convention. Sign me up.
What the fuck? Razor clam action praised. What the
Razor clam action?
Police action in tackling illegal clam fishing in the waters of Loose
Yes, good.
Bay. Oh, my God. Crazy. You know, surprisingly enough, that website actually held up. I got to give them
It
credit.
did, I
The
was gonna
Galloway
say, I
Gazette's
kept
pretty fucking
clicking things.
hardcore. We can't even break it. We broke on bigger things than that, so that's quite impressive. Oh, man.
Good job,
So,
Galloway Gazette.
oh, God. Congratulations,
They've
They've
Galloway
also got an
Gazette.
app, apparently.
Oh, do they? Of course they do.
You scroll all the way to the bottom, it says local news on the move.
Yeah.
Keep up
Oh.
to date with our mobile site. Oh, maybe it's not an app. It's just mobile.
Yeah. So,
Anyways.
I may have made a horrible mistake, and that is buying
Uh-oh.
games for consoles. You know, I keep making this constant mistake. Last week it was J-Stars. J-Stars is fucking terrible.
J-Stars is just not good, yeah.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate.
And I was, after seeing the trailer for this, I was really excited. It's the Godzilla
Oh.
game.
Right.
But people were saying, oh, you know, it looks like a PS3 game. It's like, I'm okay with that. I don't mind, you know, I think that all console games look like PlayStation 3 games because it's weak and amateur peasantry. But I thought, you know what, I was out this morning, I'll swing by GameStop, I might as well pick up Godzilla. Looking at the Metacritic rating, that may have been a horrible mistake. Like, that...
Yeah, it's not even opened yet, right? You haven't even tried
I
it?
haven't played it yet. I fear putting it in my machine because
Did you play like the old school Godzilla games?
some of them, yes. They
Oh,
were
I'm
okay.
I'm trying to remember the first one that I played, and it's like terrible graphics.
Most of them
But
are
you
really
just like
bad.
shoot out like this ridiculous beam, and
Oh, is
like
that the one where he's
there's-
like on the moon?
Yeah, there was one where he
What?
was on the moon. That's actually true. There was one.
It's pretty bad.
AVGN did a whole series on Godzilla stuff, and they were all terrible. Like every
This
last
wasn't
one
on the
of them.
moon. This is like one of the first Godzilla games.
Mm.
And like you like romp through the town and you like are destroying things and people are attacking you and it's like just terrible. And the bosses are attacking you. Like one of them is like this crazy plant thing and you're just like trying to cut off its limbs and it's still eating you. I don't know, man. I have horror dreams of Godzilla games.
Oh man, there's a lot
Also,
of
the
zeros
controls
for
were really
this.
weird,
I gotta
too.
say, according to somebody, this game has horrible, outdated graphics, yet still lags like hell. Gameplay is boring and glitchy. Animations are horrible. Oh no.
Oops. TB, oops.
I just need to stop buying games for consoles. Seriously, like,
Unless it's Batman.
well, that runs at 30 FPS. That's terrible by default. Just because
I
the PC version
enjoyed it.
sucked doesn't mean that that's any better. But yeah, I need to quit it. I consistently try to hope that there's something on these machines that I want to play, and every time I'm disappointed. Every time.
TB, I want to tell you something about that game. I played it at E3,
What, Godzilla?
and yes, and the reason why you need to play it, probably stream it, is this. During the course of the game, the Prime Minister of Tokyo has a direct feed to Godzilla and talks to you. He's your coach throughout the game. The Prime Minister, he's like, Godzilla, I need your help. He like appears in a box. He talks to Godzilla. That is like people communicate with him like, Godzilla, we need you to go to these coordinates. Godzilla's like, "Ah!" It's perfect. It's perfect.
What? That's so weird.
Totally true. They
Somehow
talk to
that doesn't
Godzilla.
surprise me.
I'm looking at like gameplay footage of it. It doesn't even look that amazing.
No, it doesn't. But I was hoping at least for reasonable gameplay, but apparently it's not even that. I'll try it later and see if that ends up being true. Might just be people being picky, but it would be nice if they put a warning label on these games that this game runs like shit. You know, that would be nice. I'd appreciate that.
Warning. Don't buy this. It's
Yeah,
terrible.
warning, this game is awful.
What amazes me too is that whenever you know you're making a game for console, it's much easier than trying to make like a PC game for like a plethora of PCs. Like you can have like this really low tier to like a ridiculous high-end PC, and there's so many
Yeah, low
variables. Whereas like
configurations,
you
yeah.
know exactly what the configuration is, so why can't you do like
And you
some
fucked
kind
it
of
up
like
anyway.
tech QA? Yeah, it's like I don't understand.
Yeah. We need the official Godzuki video game, obviously. It's just like it's just a knockoff of Just Dance, where you're just dancing with Godzuki. It would be fantastic.
Aw, he'd be
I like it.
adorable when
I'd
he
be okay with that.
Agreed.
That's a nice one. Someone suggested a warning label. Warning: this game has been drastically downgraded since the E3 trailer. Like, yep, that's a good warning label. I like that. In fact, we should print those out and start walking around GameStops and start just covertly
Just like
adding them to
secretly
games.
putting stickers on them. Yeah.
Yeah, every copy of Watch Dogs, you know, things like that. That would be fantastic. Wonderful. I'm being told Godzuki is no longer canon. Go to hell. Go to hell. It's canon in my mind. Oh dear.
Oh, man.
I used to watch the old Godzilla movies on VHS. Godzilla Destroy All Monsters was absolutely phenomenal. Incredible. Nothing better than watching people destroy these tiny fake buildings in rubber suits. It's so
It's
realistic.
great.
It's
A+.
fantastic. It's amazing. Alright.
Okay. Games
What have you been playing?
wise. Did you, TB, I know we talked about Fort Meow. Did you play Fort Meow?
I did not play Fort Meow. I am going to make the assumption that you did, though.
I did. I played through the entire game on a stream. Just
Oh.
blasted through all of it.
How that couldn't have taken that long, then?
It's not super long. It's like 4 hours. How long was
Okay.
I streaming? Maybe 3 hours. Yeah, it's a pretty simple game, and I don't know that there's a difficulty hike at all where you can be like, make this even harder. But it's a charming game. There's like an actual story to it, and like the whole end of the game is you trying to figure out how to like why are all of these cats here? Why are there so many of them? How do you
The
stop
question
them
you ask
and, like,
yourself
get
on a
rid of
daily
them?
basis, really, is like, why are all these cats here? I just don't know.
No, I would never be like, why are all these cats here? I'd be like, come to me,
If
cats.
they were attacking you, all
Oh,
these cats are
yeah.
attacking
These
you.
cats are
Yeah.
fairly
So You're trying
aggressive.
to
That's
like create a fort over yourself to like keep the cats from getting to you. And like certain cats have certain abilities. Like there's a watermelon cat where it's
Of
just a
course
cat
there
with a
is.
watermelon hat. Yeah.
It seems like it's a reverse Angry Birds, really, by the looks of it.
Kind of, yeah. That's a good way to put it. You learn like the trajectory that a lot of the different cats take, and then you're like, okay, I've got 6 of them coming from up here, and a bunch of them coming from the side, and yeah, it's pretty fun. It was a fun game, I thought, but yeah, it wasn't super long.
About
just-
4
it was
hours.
just
Is there any
charming.
replayability, or do you think that's it?
I honestly don't think so. I took like a short gander to see if there was a way to up the difficulty, and I didn't see one.
Mhm.
So it might just be a single playthrough sort of a thing, but it was fun.
Do you
It
think
was
they'll
cute.
add like another level or map or something like that?
Maybe they could, or could they? With the way that game ends, I don't know if they could.
Oh, does it
Retcon
have like a
everything.
legit
It'll
story
be
then?
fine. No problems.
Retcon everything. Yeah, it's got like a full-fledged like beginning to end story. So,
Is she
yeah,
wearing a
it's-
monocle?
it's cute.
She appears to be wearing a
Yeah,
monocle,
is
yes.
she wearing a monocle?
From what I can tell.
Like,
This is
what?
footage from Bear Taffy's channel, so I don't know if he customized her or whatever, but she is wearing a monocle.
Maybe, yeah.
Okay, because I was like, it looks like she's wearing a monocle, which
Yes.
is pretty amazing. And now she's carrying. I mean, if cats are attacking you, why are you carrying like a cat balloon?
Well, it's to distract them. They might think it's real and go for that instead.
Oh, okay. So it's like a tactical.
Psychological warfare.
Gotcha. I like that you can decorate this like attic.
Yeah, you're basically like you're reading the journal of your grandpa up in the attic, and these cats keep like attacking you while you're reading it, and you're like, "Stop it! I'm trying to read a thing." So yeah,
I mean, he does not look like
that's-
he's reading. He looks like he is building himself an escape route.
So that's a game. It's
That's a
super
game.
cute.
That is a video
I
game.
like this art style though. Oh, I see. You just build around you and then they come at you.
Yes.
Yeah, and certain ones are like a one-hit kill. No matter how sturdy the thing is, they'll just like annihilate it.
Come cat me, bro.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Boo. Disgraceful.
So there's that game that was super cute. If you want like a short defensey type game, I did play Team Fortress 2 Gunmetal.
Oh,
the
so
new Team
that's
Fortress 2
the
stuff.
that's the sort of CS:GO style thing, right?
Yeah, it's like it's a paid ticket in the game that creates a contract system. So like you pay $6. They have all of these different maps that are like the gunmetal maps, and they're all new and shiny and wonderful. And you can play those without paying at all. If you pay, then you get all of these different contracts based on different classes. So like, of course, it started me off being like, all right, your 2 contracts right now are for sniper and demo man. And I was like, I'm fucking terrible with both of those. And you have to gain a certain amount of points as that class in order to like fulfill the contract. It's going to be happening over a series of months. So they're going to be adding more and more and more contracts. But the ones that I'm starting off with right now are just like very basic, like just hit a guy, just get a point as this class, please. And I'm just like, oh my God, this is so hard. I got a few headshots. I was feeling good about those, but you have to get 100 points as each class in these first contracts, I think. So I'm really terrible with those classes, and I was getting very, very frustrated. I eventually was just like, F this, and just switched back to heavy and made myself feel better about my abilities.
I'll be your
but,
medic.
Aw, thanks!
I
Yay!
love the medic. So much fun.
I will be
Yeah,
your healer, baby. What was that?
I pretty much, yep,
Yeah, I'll be your healer, baby.
I pretty much only play heavy. So thus
Heavy's
why
so
I'm
much
so
fun.
That class requires a massive amount of skill, so I'm not surprised that
Yeah.
you picked it.
Heavy's
doesn't it? I
awesome.
know.
Absolutely. You've got one button and the other.
Just
And
like
you eat, and the other ones
literally
used for
every other class
sandwiches.
in that game.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and then you can eat sandwiches.
Mm-hmm.
And you can run with your gloves on. But then everybody knows where you are.
Anyways.
Terrifyingly difficult. Lots of learning curve there.
I love TF2. So I was like really excited that they added a bunch of new stuff.
I haven't played in ages. I should really get back into it. I just haven't. It's almost terrifying to go back into that game after not playing it for a number of years because they've put so much shit in it that you don't even recognize it anymore. It's like, what's that weapon that just killed me? How do I counter that? It's okay, this guy's got 30 more weapons you have to learn. I'm like, God, what is going on?
They've added so many items, TV. Like if you
Yeah.
haven't played in a few years, there are so many items.
Yes.
It's so fun though. I love that game. I feel like no matter how long I step away from it, when I come back to it, I'm like, this is really fun. I was doing gunmetal on stream, so it was people constantly coming in and being like, wow, you're fucking terrible at this game. And I was
Don't love
like,
that.
So that was decreasing the fun level a little bit, but I don't know. I think that adding some sort of like a challenge system to TF2 makes sense for people who play a lot and are just kind of like, well, this is a lot of the same, you know?
Yeah, because the
The
game
same
is a
thing
lot
with
of the same. So
It
giving
is,
someone
yeah.
like
But-
even if you do all the achievements, because achievements are really silly and they're
Mhm.
fun too.
Well,
But
you
once
need
you
to do some of
get
them
once
for
you get all
unlocks,
them,
right?
then you're like,
Huh?
You need to do some of the achievements to get unlocks, right?
I honestly don't know.
I
Unless
don't
they've
know if
changed
I'd
that.
get things for them. I just did them because they were ridiculous.
I mean, I know at one point you used, because I think like the first big update where they added some alternate items, they tied them into achievements, so you had to do a certain number of achievements for the class to unlock them. I don't know if that's
Gotcha.
still the way of it, because they've added so much, so I have no idea.
I'm honestly not sure.
I
I don't
don't
really
know.
pay attention to that stuff at all. I'm just like, as long as I can go out as heavy and do payload, that's my jam. That's all that I want to do. Like in Gunmetal, they constantly throw you into capture the point maps, and I'm like, these take for fucking ever because it's just like you in your little base with your point, and then there's the middle point, and people just aren't pushing to get that last point, so you're just like constantly warring over the middle point, and nobody just goes for it. It's so frustrating. I literally disconnected from a game yesterday. I was like, this has been going on for too long and I hate this game. So angry. But
You should message me next time you play. I'd totally be down to fun. Like
Okay.
I love TF2, but I don't like playing alone. I get annoyed,
Yeah.
and then every time I talk, like people, then I have to deal with like people annoying me.
yeah.
It's like frustrating, or they think I'm like a 12-year-old boy, and I'm just like, I just want to win the game.
I
Can you
never,
stop
ever
doing whatever
speak.
you're doing.
I usually change my username every couple of days on Steam, and I don't do voice comms at all. because
Well,
it's
'cause
not
I,
worth the
I
hassle.
want to win, TB. I want to win.
Yeah, you
It
see,
requires some
I just pick the most
communication.
overpowered class and win anyway. I've been playing a bit of Dirty Bomb recently, and I've been playing exclusively Phantom because I'm a fucking bastard. And that class is fucking bro. Who thought this would be a good idea? So, stealth class, right? So, he's got invisibility. But wait,
Oh,
there's
I
more.
watched your video on this.
Not only does he have invisibility, but while he's invisible, the energy of his invisibility is additional armor. So instead of taking damage, you take energy away from your invisibility bar. But wait, there's more. Not only that, but he has an above average health pool of about 120, which is more than most classes. He also has a samurai sword that has a lunge on the right click, which one hit kills the vast majority of classes in the game. And if it doesn't, you can follow up with a quick left mouse button slash to kill any other class in the game. But wait, there's more. Because not only can this guy do that, but he's equipped with the best SMG in the game, that being the Keck 10. So not only can he do a great job of meleeing you out of invisibility so you can't see shit, but even if you do spot him, he guns you down with this fucking SMG that has high damage in a 45-round magazine.
That
So,
game
He's
looks
great.
so fun.
He's awesome.
so
I love him. I'm constantly top of the table, and people keep calling me all sorts of weird words that I have never heard before. It's so good.
Weird words that you've never heard before.
Yeah, I mean, it's brand new swear words in all manner of different languages. It's really amazing. You know, you get the standard, but then there's some stuff that's like, I'm not sure if you're trying to insult me or if that's some kind of delicious local food stuff. I don't know. But you could
Maybe
be
he's just hungry.
you
Yeah.
could be an
I
arsehole
personally
in
love
that
the
game.
poop gobbler. I think that's a great dessert.
I'm sure. Yeah, no. I don't believe
Poop
you.
Yeah,
I think
killed
you're trying
it
to trick
all.
me. I think you're trying to trick me. I don't think this is
Killed
right
it
at all. I don't know. I think that this was not a well thought out class. He is not an objective runner. He's mostly just kill everything kind of class. And those classes exist, don't get me wrong. I mean, there's plenty of assault classes that have that. But the melee attack is really good. And it also cleaves through multiple enemies. So
Yeah,
I've
it looked
killed...
like even when you got caught, you were just able to just
Yeah,
keep
I
going
could
at
either go invisible, run away, or pull out my Keck 10, turn around and just gun them down. And, you know, I've got pretty good at bouncing off walls and doing the wall jump and things like that. So if I'm near a wall, I'll just bounce off them, go over their head, and then stab them in the back of the neck and kill them instantly. And it works really, really well. And people get really annoyed with you for doing that. And I don't blame them. That class is broken OP. I'm top of the table every time I play him without question. It's just stupid. I don't even know what you do with that. Because, I mean, if you think about the Team Fortress 2 spy, and you think about, you know, he's got invisibility, right? And invisibility is really
annoying too.
powerful. So how do they balance that? Well, they make his primary weapon a piece of shit. You know, like one of the weakest weapons in the game. They make him very vulnerable. They also don't make him fast. The problem is, Phantom is not only pretty damn tough, he's got one of the best guns in the game, the best melee weapon in the game, he has that armor mechanic, and he's actually pretty quick. So he literally has no downsides, as far as I'm aware.
Who balanced this game?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Who was like, yep, we did it. Totally balanced.
Yeah,
We're good.
it was... I mean, and this is footage from the first day. I've been playing this guy for a week, and I'm a lot better now. So it's just a nightmare for everybody. But I keep playing him because I hate humanity, and I will inflict it on others. Misery loves company. I mean, really, do you feel guilty about playing the most OP class in any game? I mean,
No,
it's
I don't
not
think
your
anyone
fault.
feels guilty. I think
No.
everyone who's playing it feels powerful.
Yeah.
I think if
So-
anything, it's more just that sometimes people when people question like your actual ability, if you feel like you're actually good at the game, then you tend to have this bristling feeling of
You're like,
"Well,
I
I can play other stuff.
Yeah.
I just choose to play this because I like it. But it's not like I'm bad at this.
Yeah, I generally
You
bust out a medic and just murder everybody. I'm like, right, you got to complain? Can I go back to my fandom now? That would be nice. But I can definitely understand why people would be upset about it. But ultimately, it's not the player's fault that a class is overpowered, and especially in a free-to-play game where you either have to buy it or you have to invest a lot of in-game currency to get it, you should never feel guilty for playing that. It's not your fucking fault, and honestly, it's going to get hit with a nerf bat anyway, so you might as well enjoy it while you can. That's my way of looking at it.
Yeah.
I mean, and think if you look at like the way that competitive gaming looks at that stuff, you'll see that in seasons there will just be like a powerful champion, a powerful
Sure.
weapon, a powerful this. And so that meta changes every time. And I don't think like I it's silly to like make fun of someone for using something that's powerful. Like, yeah, it's powerful. Like
Of
if you're a
course.
smart person, you're like, I'm going to equip that weapon that's going to do the most damage.
Yeah,
Like,
why would I pick something that is literally less than that? I mean, the SMG, that Keck 10 SMG I was talking about, people have been sort of complaining about that gun for a while because it seems to be statistically better than the other SMGs in the game, and there doesn't seem to be a reason not to use it if you have access to it. But I'm like, I'm not going to use a lesser SMG. I mean, they all handle about the same. It's just this one's a bit better, so why the fuck would I not pick that? That seems like the way to go, surely. I can understand, trying to be different, but ultimately, if there's an obvious power upgrade that you have access to and then you don't take it, then you're kind of a bit of an idiot, I gotta say. Because other people
Yeah.
aren't gonna think that way.
yeah, and other people, you can't just be like, well, you're just using something that's OP to somebody else and like try to degrade them for that. I think that's silly.
It
And if-
reminds me of when
lot
I
of
was a
games
lot
will
younger
take
playing
stuff
fighting
out,
games, and the first guy that figured out fireballs on Ryu, everyone was fucking furious. It was like, oh, you have no skill, you're just spamming fireballs. I was like, oh, and then we ended up banning fireballs. Like, no, that's not how you play games. That's how you're a scrub. Yeah, that's how you know you're a scrub. If you're like, I've got to ban all these other things and I've got to make my own set of rules. Someone described it as Ibushido and said, look, it's just fucking stupid. Like, this imaginary code of honor, nobody cares that you have this imaginary code of honor, and everybody else is just going to use the most powerful and effective thing because that's the way the game's designed. So if you
But I
don't
think it
use that, you're
depends.
just playing badly.
I think it depends. Like if you are doing a competition and everyone within that competition agrees with it, I think that's a different story.
Sure,
Obviously,
yeah.
if you're just
but in
trying to,
pubby
like,
games,
if you're just hoping that
there's no
everyone
rules.
else is going to, that's not
Yeah.
going to happen.
yeah, I can get that. I mean, it's like you don't use Street Fighter 2 version of Kuma in a fucking competitive tournament because he's broken and he was never designed to be played that way. So that's why he's banned. But in a pubby game, if you have access to something really good and you don't use it and you actually enjoy using that, then I really can't understand why you wouldn't. I mean, it's silly.
Use OP shit, people.
Absolutely.
Lesson learned.
Absolutely. Play to the best of your ability. Why intentionally nerf yourself? Like, unless you're looking for, like, a challenge or something like that. I get it.
Well-
Like, if you want to play Dark Souls with no clothes on, like, in the game, not in real life. Although, if you want to do it in
Don't-
real life, that's fine, too.
You know what? My stream hates me because when I was playing Dark Souls for the first time, you know how like you can pick your character and one of them is like the one without any clothes
you
on?
picked the...
I let them
I can't
choose
remember what they're
everything.
called.
I let because I did like straw poll for everything. And so he chose like I'm like butt naked and then people who are my friends come in, they're like, what are you doing? Why
Why
why-
pick that?
why'd you pick that? I'm like,
I thought that class had some sort of advantage because I'm used to Western game design
I
where
believe
it
that.
would.
No.
No, it doesn't. No.
No, it's literally like, do you want to sob every time you play
Yes.
this game? Here's your class.
Yeah,
like,
the
thank you.
deprived. It's like, why
I
would
made
you?
it though. I did it. So
I would never play a Souls game on stream anymore because I think that game is almost worse than Hearthstone for you're doing it wrong people. Like, backseat gaming in that game is insane. It's
Yeah.
just beyond crazy.
I also played through
wouldn't
the
do
whole
it.
thing with keyboard and mouse.
That's
man.
hardcore.
I'm like, and then whenever like 2 came out, I was like, they still didn't fix this shit. Who's making this game?
There was still some issues,
Why are
weren't
there
there?
no keybinds? Why can't I re-keybind this?
Yeah, I mean, the two was a better port than 1, but that's probably because 1 was one of the worst ports ever made by man, and, it had to be fixed. Like, it
But
was
I'm
all
like,
the modding that
seriously,
fixed it.
whoever picked those keys must just like be like, oh, I've never used a keyboard before. Maybe I just like take my face and smash it on my keyboard, and like, oh, that works. Because you're like, how am I supposed to move my hands like this? What is going on? That's my rant for the day.
Yeah, I sadly played a game called Coffin Dodgers. I was looking for a game to play for WTF Is, and I was looking through the list. I'm like, okay, this sounds like the kind of thing that I could probably look at over the course of a few hours and get done. Because I was trying to do my video for Holy Potatoes, and the reason why there is no video for Holy Potatoes is that game currently has a game-crippling save bug which deletes your progress. I lost like
No.
hours of progress.
No.
And then I went and did it again, thinking it wouldn't happen again, and it did. So I'm like, that's my entire day wasted. You know, that's the feeling of I was working on this all day and I can't do shit now. So like, fuck, I need another game. So
A lot of my friends were having problems with that on Dragon Age Inquisition too.
I think
like, it kept
there was
doing
an
that.
issue with the cloud saving on Dragon Age Inquisition that was screwing people over. People are claiming they fixed it, but unless that happened in the last 2 hours, then they didn't. Because I got an email from them this morning saying they were looking into it. So I don't know if they've actually fixed it now. But if they have, then that's great. I'll work on it after this show. But coffin dodges, oh my god. The keys for that are terrible as well. So driving with a keyboard's never really a good idea, but my controller didn't work with it. I just used an Xbox One controller and it didn't work. It worked in the menu, but it didn't work elsewhere. So I'm like, oh, great. So I'm using the keyboard. I'm like, well, WAS and D. I'm like, okay, so how do you power slide? Well, of course, you brake. So, okay, what you're telling me is I need to hold the accelerator, hit D to turn right, and then also hit S. So, human hands. Have you seen them before? They don't work this way. Why on earth would you bind this stuff this way? It made no fucking sense at all. But it's okay, because that game is awful anyway, so you're not missing anything. It is a terrible kart racing game, and the gimmick is you are playing as an old person, and you are racing against other old people from an old people's home against the Grim Reaper. And if you lose a series of races, the Grim Reaper takes your soul. So you are literally screwing over your fellow old people by making sure that they come last so they die.
What?
That's kind of
Sounds
morbid,
like
right?
life.
That's
It's okay, though. They come back as zombie racers. So that's fine.
Good.
So...
Wow, really? The Reaper doesn't even have the decency to just like end it?
Oh
He
no,
lets them
he
be
brings them back
undead?
as a zombie. Slightly greener version of the existing character model. I mean, I wasn't really expecting much from it anyway, because frankly, it's a kart racing game. But these days, you'd think that people could make good ones. I mean, you remember... I mean, we're all the right age to remember the era of when everything was a fucking kart racing game.
Well, that was because Mario.
Yes, everyone cloned
And
Mario.
then, like, every game started doing that. Or,
Yeah.
like, tennis. There was a big tennis thing,
There
too.
was a
It was, like,
tennis
the
thing,
era
yes,
of
yeah.
tennis and carts. Like, everything had carts and tennis games.
Did you know there was a WWE kart game? Like, they literally
Oh
made a
my
wrestling
God,
kart
no.
game. I shit you
That's
not.
ridiculous.
There was one for... You remember that movie Ants? The animated movie?
Yeah,
That
yeah,
had a
yeah.
kart racing game on Game Boy Color
No,
for no good
stop.
fucking reason
Interesting.
whatsoever. Pac-Man has one, for
Yeah,
instance.
I knew that one.
Rayman has one
Of course.
for no reason. NASCAR has one.
Yeah, of
That
course.
I was
that.
amused by
The
that.
only one that makes sense.
I mean, that doesn't make
Yeah.
that much sense, because it's like, but you already have cars. Why would you use cars? The Muppets had one. The Muppets Race Mania on PlayStation 1.
What? I never played that. That sounds amazing.
Yeah, there was something called Mole Kart, which is like a Chinese racing game on iOS.
Now that sounds amazing.
There is an M&M's kart racing game based on the popular candy.
Oh, I thought we were talking about
Wasn't
the rapper,
there,
and I was
Oh,
like,
so
M&M
Burger
excited.
kart
King kart
racing? That would be
No,
fantastic.
there was a Burger King kart racing game too.
Was
Wasn't
there?
Yeah,
All right, I'm gonna look this up. I need to know.
because like you can
Burger
play as the king. I
Kart.
know this because I've played it before. I don't know why. Don't ask me, but happened.
There's a Burger King 3-game collection. Pocket Bike Racer, I think, might be the name of it.
because
Sneaking.
it wasn't. I didn't feel like you were on
Oh,
a bike. I
sneaking.
felt like
Yeah.
Sneaking.
What the fuck is this? Okay, I've got to find footage of this. There's got to be some on YouTube. Sneak King was terrible,
it
but
didn't. It wasn't like a
Sneaking.
terrible game. I remember playing it.
all right, let's see who we can get footage from that won't DMCA me. All right, it's like this. I always go like, this channel looks small enough not to notice. Let's go with that. Oh dear. Oh my god, this is Alright, this guy's playing it in 3-player. This is not good. I must show you guys this because it does exist and you must This is the menu screen. Holy shit.
What is this?
It's live action. It's the
Ready.
fucking Burger King on
Awesome.
a tiny bike.
Awesome.
I told you. I
awesome,
told you it was like a burger. Because I remember
right.
playing as like the Burger King. I didn't realize it was bikes. I thought it was like carts, but yeah.
He's still
see?
going. They
Oh my
superimposed this
God,
over real
no,
footage.
Stop. What?
No.
the
It's a game, though.
Amazing.
All right,
That is
we've got to see some
amazing.
gameplay footage.
What?
It's just this rat. What's this? This isn't a Burger King character. It's a fucking guy in a chicken suit. This,
Oh my god.
yes,
is
the famous
amazing.
Burger Chicken. Like, yeah, I knew that guy. Or Count Chicken, I suppose.
I
he
think
could
there
be
were
called.
different costumes you could wear too.
Is everyone just the Burger King? But in a
No,
different
no.
costume?
There's other stuff. There's like other characters though, I think.
I wasn't aware that Burger King had other characters. I know McDonald's has a few, but...
No, but the game did. I don't know. Like,
oh, they just
what-
made it up for no reason?
I don't know, man. I don't know Burger King lore. I'm not like.
Jesse! Burger King law, go!
I just worked there, and I remember.
I'm watching this video, and there's a man dressed as a burger. So I feel like that's part of the lore.
You are the Whopper.
My favorite part is in the actual trailer of this game. It says, this game includes scenes involving cartoon-like characters engaged in potentially unsafe or mildly violent activity.
I'd say this is potentially unsafe, yes. Oh, God.
Oh man, he's winning.
Pocket Bike
No,
Racer.
he's in second.
Thank you to Landon 2006 for that footage. Oh
Yeah.
my. Yeah, I mean, the amount of crazy kart racing games that exist. Did you know there are multiple M&M's video games? Do you want to know how many M&M's video games there are?
I don't want.
Only
to
if
know.
we talk about it
There's
as though
prob-
we're talking about the rapper.
There are 7 M&M's video games.
All right, good.
M&M's The Lost Formulas. M&M's
Do you know,
Minis.
do you know Burger King Pocket Bike Racer was only $3.99 when it came out?
Yeah, what they did was they released these 3 Burger King games, and if you bought a meal, you could also buy a game for like $3. Sneak King was one of them, and they were all
This was-
terrible.
I don't remember if you guys remember those weird watches that you could get in kids' meals.
Mm-hmm.
I do. My
then
dad
you flip
still
them
has
up,
a Jurassic
like they
Park
had the
one from way
character's
back in the
face.
day with the eye.
This was like the era right after that. And the only reason why I know is because I used to work at Burger King for like 3 years in high school. And like I remember
you don't
playing
know the lore? Mac.
Graceful
I didn't know
behavior.
Burger
Now
King
we
had
understand
a-
why you were fired.
Yeah,
I
now we
wasn't
get it.
fired.
We choose to
I
believe
actually got,
otherwise.
like, that weird-
I was let go.
No, you know that weird sponsorship? Not weird. It's not a weird sponsorship. It's like a sponsorship that they give to like one of their employees. I got that for college.
Sick.
So they hooked it up.
Can't complain.
That's because they
Yeah.
were like, she must know the lore. You were gonna be the next lore scroll keeper. You were the chosen one, Maggie, and you left
The
them
Whopper lore?
behind. The Whopper lore.
The Whopper lore.
So the M&M's video games were M&M's The Lost Formula, which was a Crash Bandicoot style game that optionally teaches
I
math.
love Crash Bandicoot.
Okay, good.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
M&M's Minis Madness on Game Boy Color. Use different M&M's characters to solve puzzles with specific abilities. Described by IGN as barely competent and too easy, but Nintendo Power gave it 6 out of 10, which I think is maybe the lowest score Nintendo Power has ever given anything. M&M's Shell Shocked for PlayStation 1, which I actually... No, is this got more math puzzles in it? Apparently it does. M&M's Kart Racing, which was critically panned given the flat-out Worst Game of the Year award by GameSpot. The Wii version was given 2.5 out of 10 by IGN. Good God. M&M's Adventure for DS, PlayStation 2, and Wii, which was a third-person platformer. And M&M's Beach Party for Wii, with 6 beach sports: kayak racing, volleyball, Mr. Runch Slam. What?
What is that?
I don't know. Skee ball racing, ring toss, and Cullinator.
Lunch slam.
Mr. Runch Slam. I'm Googling this.
Lunch slam.
And
That
in
sounds
all
like a
of them,
wrestling move, the Mr. Runch
he's
Slam.
Spitting
The mystery
crazy
of
rhymes.
Mr. Runch? Who's Mr. Runch? Oh my God! someone has literally done an article about this.
Yeah, because people have no idea who Mr. Runch actually is.
Yeah, the article's like, keep in mind, all the other things are kayaking and skee ball, but this one's called the Mr. Runch Slam.
This article comes to the conclusion that he has no fucking idea. He goes like, oh, we thought it might be a typo, but it's not. So we don't know what it is. Right, all right then.
Oh!
article for that.
On the back of another game called M&M's Break'em, Mr. Runch is a rotten and dangerous peanut, fiercely determined on being one of the M&Ms. Just escaped the reject bin, where he was discarded as ghastly. On the loose in the galaxy, trying to kidnap and trap all the M&Ms into crystals until he gets what he wants, becoming an M&M candy too.
Oh my god.
That's
Oh,
I
poor
actually
Mr.
kind of rooting for him
Wrench.
right now.
Yeah, I'm rooting
Crunch.
for Mr. Runch. They're like, you're too ugly to be an M&M. The M&Ms are the bad guys here.
Eminem's engaging in shaming and outrage culture. That's terrible.
It really intrigues me that like how advertisement has like progressed, because back in like around that time, whenever you had like the raisins, the peanuts, like they were like, and I guess M&Ms, were they around the same time as those two? Like,
As raisins
having-
and peanuts?
yeah, you know, like the raisins and
The,
peanuts
like,
characters. Yeah, the little
that did the
characters like
commercials.
making
Oh, I thought you meant
like food characters
remember
for
raisins and
advertisements
peanuts?
and stuff like that. And then like McDonald's started doing that, and Burger King, and like it just became a thing. Like everyone's like, how do we make our food into people and have a story?
How do
And
we
it's
make
like,
our food?
It's better than how to make our people into food, to be
what
fair.
is happening?
Yeah.
Like, what are you?
Silent Green is M&M's.
Because like if we portray these things as people, we're gonna want to eat them more, right?
You know, I never got the logic of that, but apparently
yeah,
it's
like,
a thing.
I don't understand the logic, the psychology behind this.
California Raisins had a Christmas special. I just want to point that
They
out.
did.
It
They
was
did,
my
and it's
favorite
amazing.
special as a kid.
Why did
I
the California
love-
raisins exist? Why?
I had a birthday cake that had the California raisins all over it, and it said "Happy Birthday, Brookie baby," and it was adorable.
Aw.
For years, every Christmas, my friends and I would watch the California Raisins Christmas special. It is phenomenal. You can see it all on YouTube. You should look at if you want to see late 80s like claymation. It is the best.
Yeah, but we went
Yep.
through like a weird, like advertisement era of that. Just,
It's
I
just
don't
kind
know.
of terrifying. I like
Yeah,
watching
it's
old
terrifying.
British ads. They're fantastic because most of them make no fucking sense. They're great. Oh, I miss that era of advertising where you could do all sorts of horrible things and people would be okay with it.
just like, oh, that's normal.
Yeah, it's like, that's fine. You can do that to advertise waffles. That'll be fine. Oh dear. What else? What else have we been playing this week?
Ark. I've been playing way too much Ark.
Oh,
I've been
God, you're
making
into
tons
that
of
as
tutorial
well.
videos on
Oh
Ark.
no.
So if you would like to learn about Ark, I got some videos for you.
So, what do you, Maggie? What do you love about Ark?
Damn it.
I think it's the same for any like survival type game. I just love the weird interactions you have with random people. Just because
Yeah.
like there's this moment when you first meet where you're like, are you gonna kill me? Or am I gonna kill you? Like what's happening here? And
What?
it's like
I don't know yet. Am I gonna kill you?
and like you just weird stuff happens and it's funny. I like the
I want
stories
to be in
that
Maggie's
happen.
head. Maggie, I want to be in your head, like inside out, and just. Am I gonna kill you? I want to be there for that conversation. Are you gonna kill me,
Terrifying.
or am I gonna kill you?
Wasn't there like a whole episode on murdering people on Co-optional? I believe there was even an animation made about
Probably
it. So
multiple.
You know
Yeah.
more
I
about
don't.
co-optional law than we do, so
I'm
I
a
don't
lore
remember that.
master.
Oh yeah, because Jesse claims that all I think about is murder. Actually, now
remember that.
Sam has started claiming that too.
That's because you're,
It's not my fault.
you know, you're a crazy person. You're fundamentally nuts.
Oh,
That's why
God.
you're so endearing.
I'm just
Thanks.
watching. I'm watching Kraken's Ark series right here on the stream. I don't even know what he's doing, but I'm watching it anyway. Please continue.
You can make like weird looking characters. I don't know.
Yes.
I just like the interactions with people.
I think
Yeah.
that's a lot of the appeal of those survival games, isn't it? The whole idea that you don't know who's your enemy and who isn't. People make alliances and then very quickly decide
had-
to stab them in the back and all that kind of thing.
But I call it an indentured servant.
What?
I had someone who basically did my bidding for dinosaur feces.
That is like
I'm sorry,
every
what now?
streamer, every single streamer that I know that has played this game has wound up with somebody who's like, "Hi, can I just hang out with you?" And they're like, "Yeah, if you want to do all my bitch work." And they're like, "Okay." Every streamer I know has done that. I've like stopped being horrified. by it.
I had two characters fight over who would get me, and they battled each other, and it was ridiculous.
What?
It was weird, yeah.
What is happening?
I don't know.
Goodness.
Just like silly shit happens. It just cracks me up.
I have no idea
There's
what's
like a
happening.
story. Are
I'm
they like?
watching this.
Is he, yeah. Is
Yeah,
he, like-
he's made a story out of it, but I have a feeling I'm missing a lot by not being able to hear what's going
yeah,
on.
you probably need to hear what they're saying to you.
Although Ark never makes any bloody sense to me anyway, so that's probably why.
And then when someone dies and they come back and you find them later, and it's just this moment of like, oh, I remember you.
There's a
Like,
dinosaur
I-
here
I
for no
love it.
reason.
I love the world feel of that, and I think a lot of MMOs have lost that.
Yes.
I guess it's the best way to explain it because I remember playing like EverQuest, for instance. I've been playing again because Ragefire server, so I'm like level 50 now. But I remember back then it was like when you met another person, it was like a moment of like you're another person. We could be friends, and
Or we could be
like,
mortal blood enemies.
or that. It depends, I guess. I think back in the day, it wasn't like PvP wasn't as prominent as it is now. People were because back then it was like if you did something terrible, like if you went on a mass murdering spree, like you had a reputation. Like people knew you. You couldn't just like
Right.
buy a name change and be like, "Suckers, see you later. I'm Fred now." And I have a halo on my head. So it's like you actually had to like be a nice person or you could just be a terrible person and everyone would know that. And they probably wouldn't invite you to their group ever again.
Like, I've heard about you.
I remember being on a PvP server at WoW in the first few days. It was just, look, if you see red, it's dead. You don't tolerate these people being around your shit, and they will kill you unless you kill them first. So just get them. No, there's not that awkward moment of is he going to attack me because I'm already charging the fireball. It's that simple.
Right.
It's just the safest way to be. Trust me.
I'm trying to remember, like, did they have PvP whenever, like, WoW first launched?
Absolutely.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah, they did.
I started on a PvP server. I was on a PvP server for probably the majority of my WoW playing life cycle until I just got sick of it. And I was like, fuck it, I'm going PvE now. I can't be bothered with this anymore. The thing is, like, back then there was kind of a point. We always had the Taran Mill versus South Shore battle.
Never
and
forget.
it was consistently going on. And there wasn't necessarily a point to it, but we did it anyway. And PvP
But
was
that's
kind
because
of a
the
thing.
community, right? Like, the community
Yeah.
aspect of that. And
And
I
they
think,
brought
like,
Battlegrounds in. I think maybe it killed a lot of that.
but then also, I think you also had to, like, travel to get to a dungeon. You had to travel to get to a PvP place. And
So you
people would
could
be
die.
congregating around it and stuff. And, like, you knew where it was in the area. Like, now there's all these, like, dungeon finders. And you don't really... Hell, you probably don't even know where half the dungeons are. You're just like,
Oh,
I click this
I
button
could
and it
not
takes me
tell
somewhere.
you. I could not tell you where any of the dungeons in Warlords of Draenor are. I could not. Even
Because you don't need to.
point
You
it
get
out to you.
teleported there immediately,
The
don't you?
world aspect is just missing. And I feel like that is what survival games bring back.
I think you might be right. I think that might be why so many people have really jumped on that, because that sense of wonder and the sense of exploration doesn't really exist in MMOs anymore, and especially not in the established ones, because everything's been figured out, and they eventually sort of capitulate to this idea that you need to cater to convenience as opposed to anything else. So that's why they have looking for a group. That's why they have this many
Yeah, they want
teleporters and
accessibility
things like that.
and ease,
Yeah, because,
but-
I mean, and ultimately that's not bad, because once you've done
Yeah.
that 100 times, you're fucking sick of it. Now, the first couple of times you ran to Molten Core, that was cool, because there'd be fights in there, and people would fall off the chains into the lava and all sorts of things. Then you do that 100 times more, you're like, fuck it, I just want to get back into the dungeon. Fuck you guys, you're wasting my time. This is pointless. What the hell's going on? So,
Well, I think this brings up a great point. Like with Warlords of Draenor, they actually were going to take Flight away and not have it back in. But then
Yeah.
they decided, okay, now we're going to allow it. But how they're getting around that is like you have to explore to see areas before you can. So I mean, I think that's one way to do it, right? It still allows you to explore, see things, and
Yeah.
then you unlock that dungeon, right? And now you can use it through the finding system.
yeah, I mean, it's a decent way of looking at it. But I mean, things like WoW, and I think this happens to most MMOs, is, look, it starts off being really busy, and it looks like as an area full of life. There's loads of players everywhere doing quests
Yeah.
and things like that. And that's at the start of every expansion, and then it's kind of a desolate wasteland because everyone's just in a city in a queue waiting to be teleported. You know,
Yep.
and
Yeah.
they're safe there.
And that's why that's what I'm saying. Survival games bring that aspect of
Sure.
community to me, like back to me, and I think that's why I love it so much.
That makes sense. It does.
Survival
I
games
can't be bothered.
stress
I'm too-
me out
too
so
old.
Bad.
They
Yeah.
stress me out
same with
too.
same with
for
me.
sure.
I can't deal with the stress. I don't know how Strippin manages it. It's ridiculous
Well,
how
it's
much he...
because Strippin is the guy that you walk up to going, am I gonna kill this guy? And he's already decided, I'm totally gonna trap this person and sell them off as a slave. Like, he's that guy that you need to kill the second you see him. So he engages perfectly well in those games because he is the thing that bumps in the night in those situations.
okay.
But for me, I'm like, I just want to hang out and build my little house. And then somebody shows up and I'm like, oh no, 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 no. And I like go in my house and just close the door and I'm like, I hope they don't. Oh no, they're knocking.
No,
Oh
and then
God.
they talk
Oh
to
no.
you. No, I'll be in my house or like now it's like a farm area and like I'll be in there hiding. I'll be like, go away. And they're like, come out, we just want to hug you. And they're like, they really don't. They really want to mass murder you. They want to kill
they
you and
wanna
kill all your
murder you
dinosaurs
take your
and
shit.
take all your dodo friends. And you're like, no, go away. And they won't. They won't. They just stand out there and they wait for you, try to kill you. Or they start like
Yeah,
breaking down your
the
house and
worst.
you're like, I built
Rude.
this.
Rude as fuck. Hey, that's rude.
And they don't care.
That
It
would be
sucks.
one of the reasons I wouldn't play it, because I'd hate to see my progress just smashed like that.
Yeah.
That's the thing is I'm like, I worked so hard on this house and I want to keep building this house. I have big plans. But
That's
I
why
know
you
there's the
make
potential for somebody to just show up and like annihilate it.
Yes.
But I think that's why you start seeing people create tribes and then you have like an army and it's less of just like you trying to like work on your own. But it's interesting because that's like a psychology thing, right? And you're bringing that into a world and creating a society, which I think is cool.
Yeah. All right, let's take a break, shall we? When we come back, we'll...
Jesse's like, okay, Maggie.
Well, he's not used to having a guest that actually talks and takes part in the conversation, so I can understand why that would be a little bit worrying for him. All right, we're going to be going to a break. When we come back, we'll be talking a little bit about the news, and we'll round up the releases and then demand that you go and watch our videos, because we need rent money. You're watching the Co-optional Podcast. Don't go anywhere. Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the final hour or so of the Co-optional Podcast, and we can talk about news, I suppose. Things have happened this week, although I somewhat wish that they hadn't, really. The biggest news this week, of course, being that the president of Nintendo passed away at an unfortunately early age. Certainly not really expected. Fortunately, it appeared to be a bile duct tumor, at the age of 55. He was actually absent from E3 last year due to surgery on this, but the problem is that particular form of cancer, apparently I did a little bit of research on this, that particular form of cancer is not very survivable because usually it's really hard to detect until it's too late. So his chances of survival were apparently pretty low in the first place, but needless to say, as you might imagine, he was sort of keeping all of that under wraps, but he sadly passed away a couple of days ago from that.
My answer to all of this is fuck cancer.
I agree, yes, absolutely,
Fuck cancer, for sure.
Fuck it. Mhm.
Got enough scars on my body. I don't know if people can see that, but there.
Oh, we see it.
There, right
Battle.
there.
Yeah, we
can,
see
yeah.
it.
Yeah, that's.
I don't know
that
if
was-
they can.
Yeah, they can now, but yeah, that was where the port was, which is where they plug you in essentially to the chemotherapy pump. It's supposed to be sort of an area of hardened skin. They said, oh, it's less painful than an IV. It's not. Like they get this long needle, they shove it in there. There's an implant under your skin it's called a portocatheter essentially, to sort of make sure it goes in the right place. It doesn't get any easier. Like you keep having it, it hurts every time. It's really nasty, and then you're plugged into this thing for 2 days, generally speaking, and you have to carry this thing around. So yeah, that sucked. But apparently this form of cancer is absolutely awful. It's really bad. They could treat it if they could find it. The problem is finding it. Like, it's really, really nasty. So, absolutely sucks. Absolutely sucks that happened. I mean, I said this before as the reason that I didn't sort of do. I know a lot of people kind of eulogized him afterwards, and I definitely don't blame them for that. But I honestly didn't know that much about him. I was never a Nintendo guy growing up. You know, my first Nintendo console was the Wii. I owned a DS before that, but I know a lot of people grew up with Nintendo and they grew up with the games that he was heavily involved in doing. I mean, for instance, he's the reason why Pokemon Gold and Silver was the size that it was, because I believe
Totally.
Game Freak couldn't fit half the game onto the cartridge, and then he went in there and fixed everything, and then they could. I believe he did a bunch of rewriting on Earthbound. Like he invented like an entire scripting language for that. The guy was apparently like a programming prodigy. He was a genius. So it's definitely very sad to see that.
And I mean, he did lots of other stuff, like when Nintendo started having money problems. He was like, okay, I'll just take a pay cut.
Pay cut. That's a very Japanese thing to do, I
Yeah.
tend to find. Like, you've actually heard a lot of CEOs and major high-up execs very much like that.
It's sort
in
of like
Japan.
taking responsibility for their company.
Yes, yeah. So, they'll take a huge pay cut to try and help. So,
Right.
I
Yeah.
can
and,
respect
and
that
it
a
makes
lot.
sense. Yeah. And
Yeah, sure.
how can you not respect that?
Yeah.
I mean,
Definitely.
something's wrong with you if you don't.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
he was definitely not just a figurehead. He was heavily involved in everything. Very smart.
Yep, very much so. I suppose, what was like your first memory of a Nintendo game? Because obviously I don't really have one, because I never got a chance to really play the Super Nintendo or anything like that, or the N64. But I guess you guys will have.
I played a lot.
Tetris.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Tetris for
The
sure.
only system we had for the longest time at my house was an NES. So it was like Tetris and Super Mario Brothers. We played those games constantly.
I do remember there was one thing. I borrowed a Game Boy from my friend growing up when we went to Scotland for like 2 weeks, because I tend to get pretty bored up there. Like, it was the kind of holiday that my parents really enjoyed, because there was a lot of walking and all sorts of things. Like, I hated the whole walking up mountains thing. So I wanted to make sure I brought something to keep me entertained. So I basically rented a Game Boy from my friend. Like, I gave him a couple of quid or whatever to do this, and he gave me a few games with it. One of them was a port of Mortal Kombat. And Mortal Kombat on Game Boy, not a good game.
Yeah.
But I beat it. I beat the fucker. It was hard. Like, it was really difficult. It was just unfair. I remember having to do the mirror match. It was just a nightmare. But I also got Mario Land 6 Golden Coins. And I actually beat that. And that, I think, remains to this day the only actual proper Nintendo game that I've ever beaten.
Oh man.
And that was a killer platformer. For Game Boy, that was really impressive.
Yeah.
I did a lot of Nintendo gaming, growing up, especially because I have 5 male cousins, and so back then it was kind of like weird. I know it's not as weird now, but like when I was a kid, it was really weird for girls to play games. Like advertisements
Yeah.
always had like the girl going like, "Meh," and the kid playing game, like the boy
Yeah.
playing
They
games.
were
Like that
absolutely
was like the
almost
90s.
100% marketed to men. Well, but not men. I mean, boys.
Boys and
boys,
men. Like you see, there's like
yeah.
there's like Pong commercials with like it's a dude, right? And he's like super excited playing Pong, and it's like bringing gaming into your house or whatever, entertainment to your house. But it's like for me, that was kind of our bonding thing that me and my like guy cousins did. But all of them had their own taste, so I got to kind of like play a lot of different types of games. But I would say that Battletoads and like the Street Fighter series was awesome for me, and Contra was like, oh my god, my favorite game ever. And I had like one guy cousin who like loved like basketball games, so I played a lot of those, and those were weird, and that's probably why I really
Well,
don't
did
like
you get to play
sports games
NBA
too
Jam
much.
though? Because that was
Yeah,
amazing.
like NBA Jam and like that kind of like every game after that he's played. And then I have another friend who's like, or not another friend, my cousin Michael, who's actually like a car repairman now, but he loves car games. So like every car game that exists, I have probably played. And we even owned one of those like not Game Boys, Virtual Boys.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
yes. Also known as
played, like-
Epilepsy Simulator 2015.
And so like we've played like every car game in that series, and the rest of my cousins, I have one cousin too who's like really into fighting games, and so like I played a lot of Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter and like as it progresses. And I personally really like FPS games, so I loved playing that stuff. I think that's probably why I really love like the Contra style, and Battletoads was more, I guess, more side scroller fun.
Yeah, because you didn't really have much in the FPS genre when it came
Yeah.
to consoles at that stage. Didn't the Super Nintendo have a port of Doom that really wasn't that great?
I don't know.
think it
I
did.
have always played
Super
Doom on
Nintendo had a
consoles.
lot of ports that weren't great.
Yeah.
But we did have Duck Hunt. I remember playing Duck Hunt with
Duck
the
Hunt.
actual gun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
All the
that's
Mario
Nintendo.
Terrible with that.
That's Nintendo, though.
I mean, Mario series.
Yeah,
Is,
aren't we talking about Nintendo?
yeah, we
She
are
said
talking.
SNES.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
You
SNES is also
idiot.
Nintendo.
Yeah,
Super
Jesse.
Nintendo Entertainment System.
No, fuck you, nerds. What I was referring to is normal Nintendo.
I was
The
talking
gun.
about
Oh my
Nintendo
God.
games.
What, the
I know.
NES?
I know what
Okay.
you were talking about, Maggie. I'm aware. I'm saying these two poop casseroles don't understand that I was referring to regular old-fashioned Nintendo Entertainment System, Nintendo, not Super Nintendo, not like from
Right.
back when I was a child. We
Duck
weren't
Hunt.
all fucking retarded like you guys. I was referring to Nintendo. Duck Hunt is on regular fucking Nintendo, not Super Nintendo.
That's what I'm saying. Oh my god.
No,
What's he even
she was talking
about?
about Super Nintendo. Fucking
Right,
Nintendo.
and then TB said, yeah, there weren't many FPS back in the early days of
then
consoles.
you
And I was
said
like, well,
Duck
there was Duck Hunt.
And I said that wasn't on Super NES.
Yeah, because we weren't talking about Super NES anymore. We were talking about old
You
consoles.
dumb butt casserole. We
oh
just
my
were.
God. Oh
We
my
just
god.
were. Fuck you for trying to
The
make me
great
look like a stupid
misunderstanding
person
of
when you're not even
2050s.
following the conversation. I'm out.
think-
I'm out. I'm not even gonna tolerate this. Not even gonna tolerate this. Not even gonna tolerate it. My favorite game was ice hockey because it was the best game for regular Nintendo.
Ice
Uh-huh.
No
hockey?
one called it NES back in the day.
I never.
Fuck all y'alls.
Yeah,
I'm
it was just
old.
called Nintendo.
It was called Nintendo. Get your
Yeah.
ass off the internet, you fucking animu. Get out. Get out.
What the
Get off
fuck
the internet.
fight are you
Get
trying
off
to
the
have
internet.
right now? I don't
Get off the
understand
internet.
why you're
Get
still
off the
fighting
internet.
about a thing that doesn't exist. It was a misunderstanding that literally didn't exist.
Get
You
off the
started
internet.
arguing, and we all had
Get
the
off
same
the internet.
confused face
Get off the
immediately
internet.
because the
Get off
argument
the
made
internet.
no sense.
Get off the
I
internet.
do want to see the snapshot of
Get
like
off
what
the
happened
internet.
when this conversation started.
Get off the internet. I ain't gonna take shit from people trying to make fun of me. I was right. It's called Nintendo. Fuck all y'alls. Not my fault that they made 50
So
different
ice
systems.
hockey, like actual
Nicely
hockey
done.
on ice, not like
It was a game called Ice Hockey, and it was a game where you played as there was a medium guy, a fat guy, a
Jesse's
thin
about
guy.
to get the fucking his head kicked in.
I know
can't-
Dodger's coming
can't, the
over there.
door's
Did you
locked.
lock your door, Jesse? Okay.
Door's always locked. Ain't no
Okay.
one coming in here when I'm
Dodger's like shit.
Eventually, you're going to leave that door unlocked, and then shit's gonna go
Never.
down. Shit's gonna go down on this podcast.
never.
That is pretty awesome.
It'll never
I
happen.
cannot wait. It's gonna be so much fun to watch.
It'll never happen. Yeah, no.
Oh.
It was literally just a game called Ice Hockey, and it was from 1988. And it was there was a fat guy, a thin guy, and a medium guy. And the thin guy would go really fast across the ice, but he would also slam into the walls. And the fat guy would be slow, but if you kept him still, he would like fall through the ice. And the normal guy would be like the normal player, but you had to have a mix of both because it was like rock, paper, scissors.
Falling through
It
the
was
ice.
great.
Are they playing ice hockey like on a lake?
Well, it
Yeah,
was like
I was gonna say,
the
like a regular
Nintendo-
court, people don't fall through the
Yeah,
ice.
you
That's
can't
not a
fall
thing that
through the
happens.
ice. It's just ground.
It was
Yeah.
like the cheesy Nintendo version. There were other hockey games, like there was Blades of Steel, which was great. I think that might be the first Nintendo game I ever played. Nintendo Entertainment
I don't
System.
know what the
Sure.
first like
First
when
Nintendo
TB,
game I
I know
ever
you asked
played?
what the first game is. I don't remember what the first one was.
I guess it was a long time ago. I mean,
so many
when
games.
the NES come out, like that had to have been.
And I also was playing like Atari because my uncle had one of those at his house. So it was like everything mashes together. And then we always had like DOS games was like the big thing and MUDs and stuff like that. Like when
Yeah,
you were talking
I
about Doom,
remember
I'm like,
Nightmares.
I never played Doom on console. I always played it on like a floppy disk. So
It's probably for the best. Most of the Doom ports were not particularly great, although there were a couple of exceptions to that. Yeah, the Nintendo Entertainment System came out in North America in 1985, so I was 1.5 years old when it came out. So, yeah, it's that
I remember
old.
I
God.
had bad dreams watching my uncle play Castlevania 2. It creeped
Aw.
me out. I was very young at the time, and I remember being very scared. Every time I was like, what a horrible night for a curse," I'd be like, "No!" And I get scared. I was
Oh,
not
Simon's
a fan
Quest
of that.
was so good. Yeah, I played a lot of that with my brother too.
Scary game when you're a kid.
it was
Terrifying.
not that scary to me. I guess I don't know.
I don't think so
Obviously,
either.
I thought it creeped me the F out. I was like, wait, at night monsters come out? Yeah, not fun.
No one's gonna cut me off.
No.
Why do you guys
no.
let this
You
happen?
keep doing
Oh,
it.
I just wanted to see how long it would go before you realized that your dignity kicked in. Apparently, it doesn't work very well
I'll
with you.
keep going.
Okay, I've made a horrible mistake. I shouldn't have encouraged this.
It's just the background music for the rest of the show.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to say that I recognized it, but I really don't.
It's Simon's Quest. It's the music right
it's
after.
an,
It's
it's
like,
an
what a horrible night to have
interpretation
a
of
curse.
that, yes.
Mhm.
Oh my. Okay. Well, yes. Rest in peace, Mr. Iwata, unfortunately.
Yeah.
That's sad. That is sad.
Yeah.
Not good,
Sorry
not good to
that
lose kind of
Jesse
gaming
started an
luminaries at
argument.
this stage.
All discussing.
But, thank you for amazing games and helping that process go, because I lived on Nintendo games and I loved them. And when I got to play the Game Boy and I played all the Pokemon games on it, that was so much fun for me. So I have a lot of memories. And now I have the DS, so
You
just-
can keep
it's
playing the
incredible.
same game over and over
Yeah.
again. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
Like lots of Monster Hunter. So
Cool. Moving on to a guy who's not dead, but Konami is pretending that he is. So, Hideo Kojima. Konami is a bit weird. Let's just put it that way.
No.
Just, Konami does a lot of strange
No.
things, okay? A lot of very, very weird things indeed. The latest is that the final box art for Metal Gear Solid 5 has apparently been released. And guess what's missing?
His name.
His name, Hideo Kojima game. It's not there anymore. It is gone. Now, of course, I don't believe there's any official confirmation of this as of yet. It's possible that this is shopped. It's always possible that this kind of thing online is not true. But it would not in any way surprise me, would it? Because Konami seems to be pretending that Hideo Kojima doesn't exist. For instance, Angry Joe had an interview about Metal Gear Solid 5. I think it was at E3. And he was kind of told that he couldn't talk about Hideo Kojima. Like, he was specifically told...
what?
Yeah, you can't talk about him. We're not going to...
Interesting.
So, this is just getting weirder and weirder at this point. Konami is a strange beast. Don't know what the hell's going on there, but let's be frank. Like, there is no Metal Gear Solid series without Kojima. Like, trying to erase him from existence seems like a pretty stupid idea.
Yeah, for sure.
I wonder where Kojima's going to go after this. I mean, I suppose he could go literally anywhere. Like, he just runs up to any publisher, says, I want to make a video game, and they're just like, here's a sack of cash, do with it as you please. 'Cause they know
I mean,
that
that's
guy's
what
talented.
happens in general when you get to that point in your career.
Yeah, I mean, if you were to, say, name one of the 5 top producers in gaming right now, Hideo Kojima's probably going to be in that top 5 in almost every situation, right? I would think so. A top 1 in producer of really long trailers. He's very good at that. But
We're gonna use the whole song. Throw it in there.
Yeah, just all of
From
it.
the finish.
My trailer's 25 minutes long, and we're like, of course it is, Hideo, of course it is. So, what does that mean? I mean, that means Konami has basically killed Metal Gear, for all intents and purposes, and has also killed Silent Hill.
Yep.
Mhm.
So, I mean, is it now that we call them a giant sack of wangs, or what?
Well,
No.
from their perspective, they haven't killed anything. Those franchises will continue to grow and thrive.
Yeah, I'm sure. Absolutely.
It'll be fine.
I can't wait for the next Metal Gear game that they farm out to, like, High Voltage or something. I'm sure that'll be brilliant. Oh, man. We might
guess
see him
with-
Kickstarter.
coming from-
Seems
yeah.
like... Yeah, I can see a Kickstarter game out of him, absolutely.
From my perspective, coming from like having done development and seeing how many pieces and like how much everyone touches those things, don't take that out of context, people.
Yeah,
It-
go on.
It not like one person leaving a company per se isn't going to like change things that drastically. I don't feel, in my personal opinion. I think someone can have like a very big persona in like the world view of people when they think about a game, but there's a lot of people, like little people, who help create games. And so when it comes down to the actual like details of the creation of the game, I don't think like per se that he is going to be the end all to make that franchise like die down in that sense.
Sure.
But
Kojima Productions is now essentially dead as well, though, right? Which was the development studio
like
behind
his whole
the game.
studio, I think,
Yeah.
has been.
So I just wanted to like make that point.
But no, I think you're right in that we won't know what the fallout is till we get a new Silent Hill or get a follow-up Metal Gear game or anything like that. We won't know. But until then, Konami will continue to be like, we got it. It's fine. And you're right. We will then learn exactly what his impact as a single person was on the production of a game. And we won't know till another one comes out. So right now, we're going to get sort of his last hurrah in a video game form. And then after that, it's sort of what comes next. And that's when we'll notice if he really had a massive personal impact.
Mhm.
I'm sure the internet will have something to say anyway, but you know, from a gameplay perspective, that's when we'll find out.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm pumped. I can't wait for the next Metal Gear game. But like, I love the series already, so.
Oh, we're streaming. We're streaming the night it comes out. We're gonna.
Oh yeah.
I can't wait. I'm excited.
It's actually going to be like my first real Metal Gear game. So I didn't really have a PlayStation growing up either, so I wasn't on the Metal Gear Solid bandwagon. Like, I know almost everybody at school was. They're like, oh my god, Metal Gear Solid's amazing. I didn't get to play it. So.
I will say this: I didn't have a PlayStation until PlayStation 2, but I did play at other people's houses and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah,
man, that was like
I did play Metal Gear Rising, but that's people are like, that's not real. I don't care. Like, give me another one of them. That was great. You kidding me? It was fantastic. And then I find out the rest of the series isn't like that at all. I'm like, that's
nothing like that. Yeah.
That sounds boring. Why can't I ride missiles into other missiles? What the hell?
Ooh.
No, TV, get the like they just released a Metal Gear complete set or something. It's like all the games on one disc or something like that you can buy.
Oh yeah, because Konami's really known for their good remasters. If I recall correctly, the Silent Hill HD remakes were absolutely awful.
Get the oh my god.
Can we take a moment just to talk about remastered games in general?
Sure, why not? Because I mean, didn't one come out today? God of War 3 remastered came out today, if I recall correctly.
Oh yeah. Good.
I'm just so I
hate God of War 3.
I don't know. I'm not a big fan of remastered games. Just make me a new game.
I understand that feeling.
I've played through that game already. All you're giving me is like higher graphics. Okay, cool. I mean, I guess maybe they're just trying to like get more people to know about the game by like increasing graphics and maybe changing a couple things. But then if they change it too much, like if you're an old school fan, you're just like, why did you change that? And
that's
then
heresy. Yeah, why the hell did you do that?
Then it just becomes a
I think is going to be the huge interesting thing with Final Fantasy VII, because everyone was really excited, like, oh shit, they're remaking it, it's gonna be great. And then Squeenix was like, we're changing a lot of things in the game too. And people were like, no.
Heresy.
It'll be interesting to see what happens.
You're still gonna keep the Don Corneo section in there, I'm sure.
Good. They also should keep the you can go on a date with Brett if you want to. If you wanna go on a date with a big, like, bulky gun arm man, you can. Keep it in the game. It's great.
I think if they remove that stuff and they say, oh, in a modern Western sensibility, I don't think so. The good thing about Japanese studios is they tend not to give a damn. I mean, obviously Japanese games do get edited down a bit, especially like on issues of like age of consent for obvious reasons, because Japan has a somewhat different view to us on that. But for the most part, they do keep a lot of that stuff in place, whereas, you know, the internet outrage machine would prefer that they didn't. And I think it would compromise what is basically a classic, you know, and it was a product of the time as well. And you know, you can't mess around too much with that story, especially when it has such a big fan base. And it would be unfortunate if that game were neutered. Let me put it that way.
It's really, I mean, for me, it's really interesting because I'm also someone who gets really excited, and then I realize after I get excited that I'm like, why am I excited about this? This is really dumb, because remastered games are, there's nothing, it's not going to be that new. Like, why do I always get myself all amped up and then I like play through it and I'm like, oh, this is like the other game.
Yeah, I remember this. I know, I have a somewhat different view on remasters. I don't necessarily think that they're the devil, but I think that in a lot of ways, things like Last of Us getting a PlayStation 4 version was a godsend for me.
This is so good.
It's a godsend, because if you play that on PlayStation 3, that game runs really badly. Like, it's obvious it was an end-of-life cycle game that clearly should have been a PS4 game first. They should never have released it on PS3. But
It
they
was
did.
still fine on PS3. Don't listen to him. It was great.
No, bugger
It was
that.
good. It's
Get
a
it on
good
PlayStation 4. Play it at
Well,
60
get it on
frames per
PlayStation
second.
4 now, because
Yeah, play it at 60 FPS. It's fucking awesome at that. And I think like
Don't
things like
regret your purchase.
things like God of War as well. God of War, for the most part, ran at a fairly high frame rate. It wasn't consistently 60, but it was pretty close to it, which is why it's kind of weird they're remastering it. But I don't necessarily object to them doing that. The thing that I do object to is when they're really lazy about it. For instance, I think they just released this today. There's a prototype collection. Now, I like the prototype. Well, the first prototype game. The second one wasn't very good. But Prototype 1 I thought was fantastic. And they apparently are bringing it out again on next-gen consoles. But people are complaining. It's like, this just looks like the PC version. Like, you've barely done anything. And you're charging $50 for it.
That's rough.
It's pretty crappy. I mean, you would expect them to put a bit of effort and passion into it. But simultaneously, if it's better than the original and you decide to buy it, then it's really hard for me to see like a valid reason for you to complain. I know these games don't take a great deal of development time. As long as they don't make it worse than the original, like Silent Hill HD or like Fable Anniversary, for instance, then I don't really mind that they remaster these games. You know, there's people that didn't have those consoles. Maybe they were on the Xbox side of things, and there were games on the PlayStation side, and this time around they switched to the PlayStation side.
You're coming from the perspective of this is a new player wanting to check out the game that they hadn't played.
That they
before.
hadn't played because they were on the wrong side of the console. Well, or was a
totally
PC
see
gamer that didn't want to play it because it was a 25 FPS piece of cinematic drivel, and they prefer to play it at like 60 FPS, and the remastered version lets them do that.
All right, I'm totally behind remastered versions that are catered towards that. But when I see them being advertised to, like when I see them being advertised, I feel like they're being advertised to people who have already played those games.
Yeah, I think you're probably right there.
Weird,
like they really do, they do focus a lot on the nostalgia. Like, you remember this? You had a good time with this. You'll have a good time with it again. Buy it for $60. And you know what? A lot of people really do dig that. And a great example is Homeworld. The Homeworld remaster is one of the best
Homeworld
remasters.
Was actually really good.
Fuck, that remaster is fantastic. Like, it almost makes me not dislike Randy Pitchford. Almost. Well,
but they made a lot of changes. Like they made
did.
UI changes.
Yes.
They made like gameplay changes that I totally support.
Brand new multiplayer modes,
remastered...
you know, being able to use the Homeworld 1 fleets versus the Homeworld 2 fleets, and have their own individual balancing. That was one of the best HD remakes I've ever seen of anything. That was fantastic.
That is totally different though, because I feel like it's not totally different, but I feel like when you remaster a game and it's to that extent, that's very different than like what I've seen a lot of times. It's just like, it looks better now.
Yeah,
and
it's like we put a little bit of polish on it.
Why am I buying this when I've already played it, and there's not new content for me to like chew on per se.
Yeah. I dig what they did with Homeworld. I think it really just comes down to how much effort they really put into it. You know, there are some which are really, really good. There are some which are really, really bare bones. There are some which are very clearly just cash cows, and there are some which are. Like Homeworld, I think, is kind of a very loving sort of revival of a game that's a little bit difficult to play on modern systems anyway, because it's that old. People claiming Homeworld Remastered are bad are idiots, by the way. I just want to throw that out there.
Someone is telling me that they're like, Maggie, if you loved the game, you would play it again. I already own it, so, like, I'll just go play it.
Yeah, I can just play it originally.
Like, why do I need to buy it again to play it again? That is like a mute point. So I don't agree with that like logic of like, if you loved it, you'll buy it again and play it again. And I'm like,
it's like I loved it the first time I played it. I didn't love it enough to buy the same game twice. It's like Heroes 3 HD, for instance. Like, Heroes of Might and Magic is one of my favorite games of all time. Heroes 3 HD is a pile of crap. There's no doubt about that, and it's absolutely not worth the money. You know, and absolutely I would have not bought it if I was not doing a video on it. No way. I mean, that you feel exploited at that point. It's like, don't say, oh, you're a true fan. I'm not a fan. I don't define my life by products. How sad is that? That if you're a true fan, thank God I'm not a true fan then, because that sounds like a horrible way to live.
Yeah, so for me,
because you end up like Jesse and getting really, really angry with Square Enix. I wouldn't want to do that.
He's probably going to come in here.
Yeah, he's run off.
Yeah, I
Wait,
don't know.
yeah.
For me, it's like
There he is.
with remastered,
I knew it.
remastered, I'm
I
gonna
knew
be
this was
careful
gonna
with them.
happen.
I'm gonna like wait
It's
and
okay.
see.
It's
what other-
okay. They'll be done complaining soon, and then we'll be all right. Then we'll be all right. Okay? They're so mad. They're just so mad.
Don't you
Why are
start
they
with
so
me.
mad?
We haven't
why
doing your
they're
hour-long
yelling at
rampages on Final Fantasy 13. You know, your 45-minute character study on why lightning is the worst thing to ever exist in
He
video
can't hear you,
games.
TB. TB, he can't hear you.
That's for the best. That's for the best.
TB, he can't hear
That's
you.
for the best.
Alright, well, I'm sorry.
Anyway, yeah.
Basically, that's Jesse's hint to being like, I'm really
Move
bored,
on.
guys.
Yeah, apparently move on.
You know, you could have just said that, but
Yeah. But last
Nope.
week we just had to play Quiplash and deal with your salt. You know, this is our revenge. All right. Okay.
We could do
Moving on.
releases.
Well, we've got 25 minutes left. There aren't that many releases. So we probably should talk
Okay.
about... Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, you want to leave? Are we not good enough for
No,
you?
I'm just saying. Almost every time you say we don't need to start them yet, we wind up going over time because the releases take too long.
There's not that many, really.
Okay.
I think we'll be okay. We'll be all right. It's like my nagging mother. Jesus.
Wow.
You always take too long. You don't finish your pudding.
I would let Dodger adopt me. She'd be an awesome mom.
Are you kidding me?
Thanks, Maggie.
She's terribly
Maggie and I-
disorganized. She's awful.
Yeah, I was gonna say Maggie and I have already talked about the fact that we could never be roommates because I would leave things out and she would lose her.
Oh, I'd be like a vacuum cleaner behind her. Like she'd drop something and I'd be like moving it every second because I am like an organization freak. Like if something's moved, I'm like, where did it go? What did you do, Dodger? Where did you put the
If
fork?
you saw my desk, you'd have a seizure.
I don't know.
It's just awful. It's like, there's a credit card under an empty can of San Pellegrino over there. Here is a thing of vitamins.
What?
It's on top of a pile of paper plates. It's like,
Yeah,
it's a disaster.
I get like anxiety when that's happening. I'm like,
Aw.
I need
Must
to clean.
must
Stuff.
organize.
Stuff must be moved. But see, this is the thing. I just pay somebody else to do that.
Oh, la-di-da.
The truth comes out. I don't actually want to clean it up after you. I just want to. So if Dodger
You're
and I were
getting the big
roommates,
bucks
I'd
from
be like,
Curse now.
"You
I
are
understand.
paying
I
someone to
understand. You're
clean."
too good for us. All right. So, little bits of other news, little bits of short news. Raiders is apparently shutting down that MMO, which I actually kind of liked. I played it early. I thought Raiders was okay. It's kind of sad that that's shutting down, in my opinion. They are also refunding people that bought stuff, I think, up to the 7th of May. They're refunding it to your Arc account, which lets you spend it on other Perfect World interactive games. I guess that's not incredible, but whatever. I mean, that's
It's
okay.
still good.
It's better than some games which are like, fuck you, you're not getting anything. Yeah, it's a bit sad that Raiders are shutting down. That, that game was okay, but then again, it probably sucked at the end game. I don't know. I don't know.
I remember I played quite a bit of it, but I don't remember what happened. I think like it got to the point where I got to a level where there just wasn't much for me to do.
Yeah, it was a bit samey to me.
But that's like how every MMO is,
Of course,
I feel.
Of course, yeah.
Until there's like an expansion or something like that. So
Yeah. And of course, better news, if you play Star Trek Online, there's going to be a lockbox which has one of 5 beagle puppies that you can have and
my
follow
God.
you around. Literally, puppies in a box. Puppies in a
like
box.
what? That's so random.
It's actually based on Star Trek Enterprise, where Captain Archer had a beagle puppy.
In a box.
Really?
Not in a
In
box.
a box.
No.
This is my
In a
beagle in a box.
No. Beagle.
Now
No,
I'm
I
trying
don't
to
even want to know about
remember
your beagle in a
that.
box.
Beagle in a box.
You don't remember the dog?
No, why don't I? I feel like that's something I should.
It was the
look-
best.
remember.
It couldn't have cheese because it made it sick, but it wanted cheese anyway.
That's my life.
That was literally its only
Enterprise
plot
is what
point.
they just gave up. It's so
Yeah.
obvious.
It also-
make a show about a beagle in a box, fly away. That intro song still to this day, I'm like, what the shit is happening?
That intro song was fucking terrible. Oh my god. For years I didn't watch Enterprise on that basis, but yeah, his name was Porthos, and inexplicably he survived every attack on the Enterprise unscathed. So I feel like if they made the ship out of Porthos, they would have been absolutely fine. But they didn't.
Spoilers. Wait, oh, never mind.
Guess they didn't have a way to do that. Technology just wasn't there yet.
I was thinking about the last episode, and it made me question everything you just said.
I'm trying to remember what the last episode was.
Porthos dies. Ah.
No, he doesn't.
I don't know. I never watched it.
The time travel bullshit, if I recall correctly, because it was the whole time travel bullshit was through the whole thing. That was the one where they went back to Nazi Germany and the Germans were making like an ion cannon or some shit. I'm like, this is getting silly now. But then again, Star Trek has done that in every series.
How else are they going to stop Captain America?
They did an entire movie based on that, and it was wonderful. Nuclear vessels. My favorite.
I love
Star Trek movie.
the versions where they replay Star Trek now, and then they have the little pop-up bubbles, like MTV, old school MTV style, where it like tells you little facts about the old school stuff. And I'm like, I don't know why, but I love that stuff. I'm like, oh, did you know this? I know all these like stupid facts about things like that because of that. It's my life.
I can at one point challenge you to a trivia quiz on Star Trek lore.
Oh my god.
You will lose.
I will definitely lose because you are like way more of a fan than I am. I just like watched as a child and consumed some
I watched
parts.
as an adult and
That's
then
me
was
too.
critical. All right.
I
Anyway,
like the episodes where Data had sex.
Mm-hmm. Those
That
were
always
good.
amused the shit out of me. I never.
that was
I was
creepy
like,
as fuck.
He's
No,
just like
all
an
of
awkward
Next Generation
person.
was just like, mwah. I loved
Yep.
There was a
Data
lot
so
of that in
much.
Next Gen, actually. There's
And
a
then
lot of
what was-
creepy sex stuff that I
what
didn't
was
realize as a
Data's-
kid.
What was Data's evil brother's name?
Lore.
Was it
Lore.
Lore?
Lore, spelled Lore. Lore.
Really?
Yes.
That does not ring a bell at all. But yeah, then his
Data's
creepy evil
crow
brother showed up.
dream. Oh, that episode weirded me out. He had a dream with a crow, and it was like hammering, like
Everyone's
metal
like,
and
he
shit.
was
It
fully functional. That was the line. It's like, I am fully functional.
I am
Like, yes.
fully-
And
Yes, you are.
anatomically correct.
Indeed.
Oh shit.
Every episode where Data had relationships was always weird. You're just like, what is happening? These women are just freaks. They're just like, I want to do it with a robot.
It's
You
an
figured
experience,
Riker
I
would be
guess.
like, whoa, we're having a contest. We're about to have a contest. Me versus Data. Holodeck, let's do this.
Well, that's only going to go one way. Sex god of the universe, William T. Riker. Jesus God. All right.
It just grows as the it's like. I
Oh,
want this
we'll not
holodeck
talk about
in front of
Odo
me.
having relationships. Yes, the shape-shifting Odo
Yeah.
was literally a slime in a bucket.
It's
Oh,
A+.
dear. Yes. So yeah, how we got here from
I
Raiders,
think
I'm
it'd
not
be
100%
so interesting
sure.
to be a writer on that. Like what?
Sky's
they
the
all just,
limit,
like,
man.
Yeah, were they just like all shooting back scotch and being like, all right.
Well, I mean, the formula is, for
that
most
sounds
of the Star Trek
perfect.
episodes, is obvious. It's like, they come across some kind of culture, something bad's happening, they're very progressive and forward-thinking, they solve it mostly peacefully, using some kind of technobabble. It's that simple,
Yeah.
for the most part.
No, it's true.
And if you can't fix it by
Romulans show
rerouting tachyons through the deflector dish, then it ain't worth fixing. That simple. All right, let's do the releases now. We've managed to waste another 10 minutes talking about beagles and boxes.
Yay!
Okay. So today, July 14th, we've got Fighties.
Fighties. It's
Yep.
a 2D sort of brawler arena thingy, from what I can tell. It's got
It
pixel
looks
art.
super cute.
Yes, that seems to be the whole idea. It's a fast-paced 2D platform fighter of sorts.
Cool.
I would be terrible at this.
I imagine I
I'm
would
terrible.
be awful at it as well.
I
That looks-
love them and I have fun playing them, but I'm terrible at them.
That's what I say about most.
Because
game
it's like
types.
when I have to jump and shoot, and like it's 2D, it just gets weird. Especially when there's
Yeah.
like angles, then I'm like, what's happening here?
I totally understand that. Yep.
I'm like always the
Uh,
person jumping and shooting the opposite way of the person. I'm like, oh, that's not what I
Oops,
thought
oh,
I did.
No. Next up is Nomad Fleet.
This really looks cool. It's sort of almost like Battlestar Galactica, the video game. It's a real-time strategy. You have to lead the last remnants of mankind to safety, and there's a mysterious alien race hunting for you. And the warp-in animation looks exactly like Homeworld, with the big blue box and everything. It is early access, though, so I don't know what state it's currently in.
Guild of Dungeoneering, which we already talked about.
We are well aware of that.
God of War 3 Remastered, which we already talked about.
It's a story about love and finding oneself.
It's true. Rory McIlroy PGA Tour for PS4 and Xbox One.
Rory McIlroy.
That's a ridiculous name.
That's a fantastic name. It's PGA, so it's a golf game.
Yeah, golf game.
Oh my, Rory McIlroy, fantastic.
Rory McIlroy.
I love it.
Is Rory McIlroy a real person?
Yes, I assume so.
Yeah, he's a
Golfer, I imagine.
A
Yeah.
golfer.
Just
yes.
theory.
he's a golfer.
All right. Next up is Deception 4: The Nightmare Princess for PS4.
You know, I might pick up the PS4 version of this. I got it on the Vita, but it's on the Vita. The Deception series is fucking hilarious.
What the hell is this game?
It's amazing.
Wait, I need to
So
look.
you have to you're being attacked, and your power is that you can magically summon traps. And what you try and do is you combo traps together in the most hilarious, brutal ways possible, and you fucking murder everybody that's trying to get to you.
Oh my god!
It's the Deception series was also known as Trapped in EU, which a lot of people obviously don't know. But actually, yeah, I might pick this up again because the
It's
Vita.
super silly too.
It's really silly.
Yeah,
It's
just
incredibly silly. Yeah, I should.
This looks awesome.
Yeah, it is. The Vita version was pretty fun. On the PlayStation 4, I imagine it's going to be better. So I think I might pick this one up.
What the many hells? I don't even. This woman just got impaled in the vagina and then thrown into a pit of lava.
Yep.
There's a man
Oh.
with a horse head mask on. A woman got
Yeah.
crushed by a bell. A giant.
Yeah, I
foot
believe
came out
you.
of the
You
sky
can
and
actually
stepped on
put the. I
someone.
think one of the traps is you can put the horse head mask on, and that gives you embarrassment points, and then you just fucking club them to death with something.
What?
It's like Saw the comedy. It's great. It's pretty
Yes,
pretty
she's
great.
just burning people alive in a pit
Yeah.
of lava.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh my god.
It's
She
kind of
just
cool.
used her giant spike boot to stab a guy in the dick, and then as he tried to get up, a bigger shoe smashed him.
Yep, that sounds about right.
Yep.
I don't.
Perfect.
This is amazing.
Lovely.
The Deception series. That'll be coming out for PS4 today.
Yep. Probably better than
Pick it
Godzilla,
up.
by the sounds of it.
It's definitely more entertaining, that's for sure.
By the looks
Yeah.
of it, yeah. I'm gonna go
Facts.
disappoint myself with this afterwards, and see how that goes.
Enjoy. And last up for today is Barbara Ian.
I feel like this
Barbara
is a
Arian.
really
It's like a
good
play
mobile
off
game.
of Barbarian.
Yeah.
but-
Breakneck
I feel like
dungeoneering with 1 hit point. Fuck
Yeah.
that. Fuck that.
I don't know, like the gameplay just feels like it would be a really good mobile game.
Do you play somebody named Barbara?
I probably assume so.
I mean, she has like these nipple cone things, so I'm assuming
Yeah,
that
it's
she's.
it's very. Was it Madonna or Kylie
I mean,
Minogue that did that? I
yeah,
can't
very
recall.
Madonna-esque.
Yes.
I like how this
Oh,
is
what
my
the
nipple
fuck?
thing. I'm like nipple thing.
Barbara Arian. Or Barbara Ian, whichever you prefer. In big gold text, breakneck dungeoneering with 1 hit point. Yeah, screw that. That's not my kind of game at all.
Oh my goodness.
It looks very simple.
the
it
promo
looks like it
picture is
could be
just
fun.
so good. Oh goodness. All right. July 15th, aka tomorrow. Axis Football 2015.
If this is not Japan and the Nazi regime playing really violent football, then I'm going to be very disappointed. It looks like it is clearly
Play
not
as-
that at all.
I feel
Play
like
as
you're going to be very
Tojo,
disappointed.
Benito Mussolini.
Mussolini.
Can they
'Cause
beat
I'm
Adolf
pretty sure
Hitler's
it's
Nazis?
just football.
Yeah, it is just a American football simulator, so screw that.
Oh my
That's
God.
no fun at
Emperor
all.
But like, why don't you
Hirohito.
just play FIFA? at
Unlock
that
his
point?
skills.
Or like, one
That
of
is
those.
no fun at all. I am so
That'd be
disappointed.
Amazing. Thus, they were
next-
allies. Now they're Axis.
That's quite clever. That's a good play on words. I like that.
Next game is called DGU.
So I load up the Steam page for this, and the first thing I see is a slow 3D rendered flying taco.
Of course.
Then
Okay,
it-
good.
Awesome.
Then it hits. I think I can't tell what ethnicity that is, but it hits a guy in the face, and now he appears to be falling to his death. It is a third-person 3D adventure puzzle game where the player plays a student of the Death God University, studying to become a Death God assistant. You need to create crazy death devices, apparently, and avoid collateral damage.
Like
it's a 3D
tacos.
adventure puzzle game about, again, fucking murdering people, it would seem. And it's sort of a point and click.
You get to go to space.
Oh my god, this looks adorable.
What is?
At one point, it's in.
Do you
what
get
appears to be an
graded on how
Egyptian-
well they die? Is that what
I assume so, because they're telling you have to avoid collateral damage, so. Interesting.
Oh my gosh, it's
the art style is really cute.
Next.
Next
So weird.
is a game called A Mass of Dead.
This looks awful. it's a zombie, the isometric zombie horde shooter that looks like it was made in 2002, and that's being
Oh,
generous.
that's why I couldn't find it. I kept looking for DGU Mass of Dead. And
No,
I was
this
like,
is
what
that
the
game.
fuck is this game? Oh,
There's a
that's
comma
what
there
it's
for a reason.
at. I don't know.
Yeah, that does not look particularly amazing.
I don't know. I feel like
Alright.
the zombie game could also be a mobile game and would be much more
Yes.
fun in that.
Absolutely.
Next game is called Antherion with a capital N at the end.
Epic
I like
old
this
school fantasy
name.
RPG with a combined tactical turn-based combat with a freedom of a huge living, breathing open world, apparently.
So this
And-
was a Kickstarter game.
Yeah, and it looks like it was released on the Commodore 64. It's another retro style.
The next one is called Seep Universe. I'm trying to find it.
It's a
found it.
retro-inspired 2D platformer.
Oh, good.
Yeah, we don't get 6 of them every week.
Yeah, we need more of those.
Definitely.
But what is it? Am I
They're
supposed
like
to know who
zombies.
these characters are? Like, there's 2 characters on all the promo pieces. One guy with the goatee and long hair, and one like bro dude. And I can't figure out if we're supposed to know. Like, is Seep a thing?
I don't think we're supposed to know who they are.
I don't think.
I think those are just the main characters.
Yeah.
Because the one on the
the hell
left
is
is
Seep?
like one of the main characters that I see being
What is
played.
what is Seep though?
This is super weird.
Oh, you change between the 2 characters, and I guess maybe they all have they both have different powers, so you want to switch between them based on.
Great, so it's Guyana Sisters then. All right.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
gonna say
Yeah.
it's of
Oh,
less cool looking
Seep.
Guyana sisters.
Seep is the developers, and they are the characters of the game, and they travel between worlds to save video game worlds as developers of video games.
Yeah,
Holy
'cause I'm
shit.
like-
God.
We have to go deeper.
I'm like,
That
this
is-
looks like
Have to
a
go
old school
deeper.
Mario map.
Yes.
Yeah, they're.
I mean, it's claiming it's a 16-bit rate. It looks more like an NES game to me. It's even 4x3.
Yeah.
Ugh, I don't know. I'm not keen on that.
Yeah, that part looks weird.
Yeah.
I know, bro.
Goodness. All right. Next game is called Antiopoly.
It's a spin on Monopoly of some sort. They're claiming it's a property trading game that lets players choose free enterprise or Monopoly with different rules for each path. Right. Okay, then.
Cool.
And-
Well, the next one is called Odalus: The Dark Call.
That is
It's a
some
retro-inspired
old school-
2D platformer.
Yeah, that looks like old school Castlevania.
Yeah.
Gosh, yeah.
It's inspired by Ghosts and Goblins, Demon's Crest, and Castlevania, apparently. Yay.
Cool. July 16th, then. Moving on. We've got Legions of Steel.
Legions of Steel. If that's
I
not
bet
a
it's about tanks.
Oh, I was gonna say, it's about tanks or mechs. Let me guess, it's about neither of those things.
I don't think it's
I
about
don't-
either of those things.
Looks like
Uh,
from
Robot
what I can
Man?
see.
Yep, it's like a top-down squad
Oh.
shooter of some sort.
This art style is sick. It's like comic book-esque.
It looks a bit like Space Hulk. Like, it reminds me of
I
Space
like this
Hulk.
art. Show me
it's actually-
gameplay.
It's actually not bad.
Oh, it's like a tactical strategic game.
Interesting.
Is it turn-based? It looks like it's turn-based.
I think it is, yeah. It looks neat. Huh,
Yeah,
might
I
have a
like
look
the
at that.
art a lot.
Okay.
I don't know what the gameplay's like.
All right, next.
You're ready for the sixth one? It's called
Okay.
Lux Slinger, and it's a 2D action platformer.
Yay!
And it looks like it was running on the Atari 2600, actually. This is
Oh, gosh.
one of the most old-school looking things I've ever seen. But
I
yes,
like
it
the
is-
way this one looks versus all of the other ones that we've seen.
It's
'Cause
like
you ju-
Midwestern.
You generally don't
style,
see
though.
games with this particular art style. It's
Yeah.
very...
Yeah.
I mean, it's not really Atari 2600 because it looks a bit better than that, but it's a very basic art style. Interesting.
Yeah. so that might be good. I don't know. The next one is called Mechanika.
Oh God, they made her Mecha.
Do you know who Nika is specifically?
Nika Harper.
Yo, Harper.
Not at all.
No, it's not.
It's not
But
Nico
I figure that's
Harper.
where the joke came from.
Yeah.
Apparently.
That is exactly where it came from.
Yep. It seems to be some sort of point and click, from what I can tell.
There's lots of wallpapers of
Oh,
whoever the
it's-
hell
yeah,
Mechanika
it's definitely
is.
point and click.
She is.
What is happening? There's some
Is
weird
it
shit
a
going on
comic
with this
character?
girl's
It's a
life.
comic book character. It looks like on the internet, but that's definitely not the game.
Next,
Next is called Worms World Party.
remastered. It's the-
Remastered.
Yeah, it's the remastered version of Worms World Party, which is another game in the Worms series.
Oh.
So they made it
then
HD.
I
That
like
was
the
it.
Worm series. It's pretty fun.
I've
It was
never
good
been
at the
good
time.
at them, so I hate them.
I couldn't hit anything with a bazooka to save my life, I'll admit that. So I just used to swing around dropping dynamite on people being a dickhead. It was good.
I have many, many years of Gunbound in my life.
Oh,
so
that. Yeah.
I love Gunbound so much. It's so good. So that's probably where my love for Worms comes into play.
Gotcha. This next one, I'm not sure how I'm supposed to say it, so I'm just gonna go for it. Moai 2, Path to Another World.
If this isn't a mobile game, I'm going to be really
It
surprised.
totally is, and it's one of those build your town mobile games. So
Okay.
Click on resources to gather them. When you have enough resources, click on obstacles to remove them. When you have enough resources, click on enemies to fight them. To beat a level, complete the tasks assigned before time runs out. Don't excite
This
me
looks like
too much,
Farmville.
Maui 2, because my god, my heart can't take it. That is incredibly
This
dull
makes
sounding.
me like think of Farmville.
It really does. It's the
I
way the characters
feel
are designed,
flashbacks
like,
of
and the way they do
Farmville.
screenshots, where they always have that background and then they tilt the screenshot slightly to make it look like it's higher res than it really is. I'm not keen on that.
This has to be there has to be a mobile version of this.
Absolutely, I'd be very
Because I
surprised not to see
feel-
that.
the first link
Yeah, I
on
keep saying that.
Google is a mobile version.
There you go.
Okay. Because I'm like I'm
Mystery
just
solved.
looking at this and I'm like
What is this?
this
Yeah.
would be stupid to not put in a mobile format because
Yeah.
that's the kind of people who play these types of games.
Absolutely. Next,
Next is Biodrone Battle.
like
top-down
this name.
80s shooter, apparently, of sorts.
I hope there's battle drones.
There are indeed battle drones. In fact, that's all the game
Not
is.
a
It's nothing
one.
but 100% battle drones.
Not
I-
one.
I want to build my own battle drone. This
I don't
looks
think it
not
lets you
good
do that.
though.
No, it doesn't look like
Aw.
that at all.
I'm like, this is not what I was thinking.
No.
When I think battle
No.
drones battles, I'm like, yes. I want to
Mm.
be like, what's that new show? That show that they just released a new
Battle
version
bots?
of? Yes,
Yeah, Battle
I love it.
Bots.
I love it. Oh
There's
my
a guy
God.
that does edits that cuts it all the reality bullshit out and just does the fights, and the show's at 8 minutes long. So,
That's
Nice.
awesome.
yeah, okay. Next,
See the bots beat each other up.
yes, I like seeing thousands
my
of dollars
best
of
part.
hardware destroyed. That show does give you that.
So good. July 17th, we got Interstellaria.
I am digging the look of this one. I actually did just get code for it, so I do feel like playing it the next couple of days. It looks like a bit of a mixture of FTL and Star Control. Looks like it's got a lot of cool stuff. You got tactical crew management, things like put out fires, repair equipment, customize your crew. Your crew eats, sleeps, and needs entertainment, so you got to kind of build your ship up and
like
explore the
Sifu.
galaxy. Yeah. It looks
Oh,
really
cool.
interesting, actually. So I'm all over that.
I love FTL. This does have like a very FTL.
It does
feel.
have that vibe, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. The
I
art
still have
style.
not played FTL on mobile.
It's not bad, actually.
And I've
The
heard that
interface
it's
is
really
pretty good.
good,
I
yeah.
played a good, like, 10 or 20 hours of it on iOS, and I actually thought it was all right.
Yeah, I need to
Yeah.
do that sometime.
I like it.
I like it a lot.
Next,
Next one is Cast of the Seven Godsends.
it's a retro-inspired 2D platformer.
Perfect.
It just looks
Next.
it just looks a little bit better than the others, like, graphically.
Cool. Next is called Nico Through the Dream.
I like the way this one looks. It's a puzzle sort of misty game.
Oh,
you
it's
solve
beautiful.
puzzles and things
The
like
art
that.
style
But
is
it's in
I love
dreams.
puzzle games. I'm
But
terrible
it's like
at them. But I
in
love
dream world.
I
and
hate them and I'm
something, so-
terrible at them. But yeah,
Oh,
it's
it's
apparently a
crazy looking.
spiritual journey through dreams, where adventures, puzzles, and mysteries come together. I love the art style. It's very kind of Spartan art style, very clean, but there's some really lovely backgrounds in it. It's gorgeous.
A lot of
Okay,
MCS
the video that I'm
-esque.
seeing, I'm not in agreement with you guys. I feel like someone made a world and decided not to add textures because
Not to texture it. You know, you need to play a
You
game
know,
called The
I don't have
Magic
enough money
Circle. I don't know if you've had a
for
chance to
add
play it yet, but The Magic Circle is a game about an unfinished game.
Oh.
And it's got the developers of the game constantly arguing and changing shit, and you're going through the world as a creature within it, trying to fix it by changing attributes of things within the world.
Cool.
It's really, really strange. I just started playing it. I've got about 30 minutes in. It's really intriguing. I think if you've ever been involved in game development, you absolutely have to play that game.
Are you gonna post a video on that?
Eventually, yes. But
Alright.
yeah, it's...
Maybe I'll wait to see.
It's pretty
I don't know.
interesting. All right, next.
Next is No Time to Explain Remastered.
That is a platformer in which a giant space crab / shark is consistently murdering your friend through space and time, and you have to chase it.
What?
It's actually pretty hilarious.
It's
It starts the game by saying, God, there's no time to explain, and then the guy gets grabbed by a giant space crab.
It's you. He's like, I'm you from the future. There's no time to explain this.
And then he gets grabbed by, and you have to chase him through the levels, and he's consistently being like murdered by a different animal every time. And he's like, oh God, this hurts, why? And you keep chasing him through. And you have this giant laser, which is also like a
Do you
boost.
ever find out what happens at the
Yeah,
end?
I mean, eventually
Okay.
you do. It's a
is he all
remastered
fat
version of
now?
it. I did a video on that years ago. It's actually
Oh,
pretty
it's
fucking
super-
fun.
The story's
Yeah.
hilarious. It's super convoluted and crazy, and
Yeah.
it's a ton of fun.
Is there a pie?
Absolutely bonkers. Don't ask those questions. Don't.
There's
No,
no,
this
time to
looks
explain.
really-
There's no
no
time.
time
There's
to
no
explain.
time to
No
explain.
time to
Next one.
explain.
No time to explain. Next one.
Next is called Aberoth.
This
It is.
this
It's
looks
an MMORPG.
yeah, with retro graphics. I mean,
What is this game?
I don't know. It looks like Ultima on low resolution settings. I don't know. I can't explain that. There's
Cool, perfect.
one
No
where the
time to
character is just
explain.
being chased by a
Next.
dog. All right, next. Last.
Our
this is the
final
last one,
game
right?
is for July 20th. We have The Bug Butcher.
Yeah. It's a fast-paced action shooter where you kill bugs with machine guns in space.
Wow, in space.
Yeah. It's a
Game
2D
development
action
studios
platformer.
are really on a space
Yes, space is the new
hype
thing,
train.
obviously.
Yeah.
We've had
I mean,
enough
I
of
love
zombies.
space. Don't get me wrong.
Well, last few games were zombies in space, so, you know, it's about time we got rid of that.
This actually looks really cool, art style wise.
I like the art style. Yeah.
Yeah. The gameplay looks kind of eh. I mean, you're killing big pink balls. I'm confused.
Sure, why not? It always reminds me of kind of Behemoth art style, actually. The bugs look kind of adorable in a really creepy way.
Well, it's like Jigglypuff, and I don't want to kill him. Like,
I
I want him to be my
absolutely do.
friend.
You fucking
I would like to capture him in a Pokeball.
No,
and be
Jigglypuff
friends
is not in
forever.
any way trustworthy. Are you kidding me? I would not be anywhere around him. Absolutely not. I check my drinks around Jigglypuff. I'm just saying. Gotta be careful out there.
What a lush.
And that's about it, right? That's about it.
Yeah, I think so.
And we overran by 3 minutes. Yeah!
Yay!
We knew it would happen.
I'll teach you.
All right. Thank you very much for watching the Co-optional Podcast. But of course, before we go, thank you to our sponsors. Crunchyroll.com/TotalBiscuit. Go there to get your free trial for unlimited anime. Go and inflict food wars upon yourself or something. I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah.
And we would like to let you know exactly where you can go to find our stuff. So, Maggie, thank you very much for coming on the show today. Very much appreciated. Tell them where to go to find what you do.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me. I mean, I'm glad I got to come back, so I must have done something right. But thank you guys for having me here. I always enjoy talking about video games. It's fun. You guys can find all my stuff at margaretcrone.com. My social media is there. Everything's pretty easy to find me. I'm just Margaret Crone everywhere. I make a lot of YouTube videos. I'm part of a ton of like role-play-esque type of things with like roleplay R&D. I'm joining a new one that's like Let the Dice Roll, and I'm part of an Edge Runner series or a series called Edge Runners that's like a Shadowrun / Dungeon World conglomeration called Sixth World. And I make a lot of videos on the YouTubes about video games, and they're mostly like more tutorial helpful or kind of review-ish for products. Like I'm going to be having one that comes out this Friday and all kinds of other stuff. I have a book that I'm BOing that will be really cool that's coming out on Audible and iTunes and all of that stuff, and I'll let you guys know when that happens. and stuff and things. But yeah,
Awesome.
You're doing too much, girl. You're doing too
I know
much.
it's just everywhere. I don't know what's
Calm
happening
it
with my
down.
life. That's why I haven't been live streaming as much because I do live streaming as like my fun thing on the side, but like lately I've just been like overwhelmed with how many projects I have, so I gotta reorganize.
Oops. I didn't realize that timing somebody out auto unmods people. I actually unmodded JP. Whoops.
Oh
Whoops,
no!
lol.
I don't know. What's the command to remod somebody? There we go.
Slash
Okay, JP,
mod
you've got
again.
your moderator back. There you go. So you can quit whining now.
Yeah, I don't think I can talk.
Because I don't think he's actually subbed to my channel, so I don't think he
I
can
was
talk for
gonna
the last
say,
3 hours.
Just tell him to sub. What a terrible friend.
Yeah, fuck you. Give me your money. Oh, fantastic. Dodger.
Hi, everybody. My name is Dodger. You can find me at youtube.com/presshearttocontinue. I play visual novels and dating sims, and I do a weekly show about the games industry. And I also started back up again on my other channel, youtube.com/dexterity-bonus, where I do an almost daily vlog show where we drink coffee and
Almost.
talk about life and stuff. So if either of those things sound interesting to you, I would love it if you would check them out. Also, I stream normally around 3 times a week at twitch.tv/dexterity-bonus. And on all the social medias, you can find me at dexbonus, DEXBONUS. Thanks, guys. Sorry I was so sleepy today. I took a yoga class, and apparently I'm not used to exercising, so...
Fitness. That's a bit of a problem for us. No doubt about
Fitness is awful. It just makes you want to nap by noon.
See, this is why I work out at night and then I go to sleep. And people think that's really weird, but I'm
Yeah.
like, I need to sleep after I
is why I
run
work out
like
while I
5
sleep.
miles.
Great.
Yeah, I'm
Close
imagining
my eyes
Jesse
and wake
like
up, like,
On a
sleeping.
cursory visual
No, no.
assessment, I don't
I'm
believe you.
imagining Jesse sleeping like a dog, and you know, like when they're running in their sleep, like that's what Jesse's doing.
That's about accurate.
Like
My
having that.
dreams are just me in grassy fields and just dogs' butts, and I'm just like, ah. Yep.
Jesse, what's going on in your channel this week? What's going on?
Hey, gang. We're really close to finishing up the Book of Unwritten Tales 2, which is just a great game. It's really phenomenal. And also, we are back to the normal schedule. So, Fan Fridays, Q&As, green lights, all the usual gibberish. If you want to see me stream Heroes and play with me, twitch.tv/Shabuzi. We do that.
You're going to be
plenty of
yelled
times
at
for-
by Jesse for doing the wrong thing.
No Salt Monday. I had a good
me
time
the way,
yesterday. We were
Jesse.
great. I didn't yell on anybody. I had a good time. And
proud of
I would yell at you, Maggie. I would yell at you every day. So, hell, I've yelled at you guys today. I feel great about it. I would say thank you so much for being awesome and watching this podcast because it's 3 hours long. And I just want to remind everyone, holy shit, you are 15,000 champions of the internet or very boring people. I tend to believe that one. You just get
Nothing
out,
better
go
to do with
outside.
your lives. That's our primary demographic right there.
Yeah.
should be.
Wait, can I slip another one in?
Absolutely not.
No Manga Pod tonight. Manga Pod is going to be on Thursday, and Mirror Shades is going to be on Wednesday. So if you like those shows, watch those at their differently scheduled times than usual.
Cool. Good to know.
Yeah.
And you can find my stuff over at youtube.com/cynicalbrit. Apparently they fixed the save bug for Holy Potatoes Weapon Shop. I didn't get a chance to really talk about that game today, so I'll probably do a video on that. I might even work on that tonight if I'm feeling particularly energetic, and I'm not, but coffee might fix that problem. Outside of that, there's some more StarCraft available on youtube.com/TotalBiscuit. The latest VOD, it's a good series between Evil Geniuses and Team Prime, is up, so do feel free to go watch that. There are a few more Clan Wars before the end of the month, and I will be announcing... Oh, screw it. I'll just tell you right now. I'm doing a $5,000 a month tournament series on MLG starting next month with a variety of different formats. We're bringing back the old school Shoutcraft format. It's going to be fucking awesome. So, yeah. There you go. There's your random announcement. Now LG's going to be pissed at me for not doing it properly, but there you go. I'm sorry. I wanted to tell you. So, anyway, that's going to happen. The first one will be sometime in the middle of August, most likely. We're going to be doing one a month, and they're going to be absolutely fantastic. We're going to have a variety of different formats and awesome stuff like that. So, thank you very much for watching the show. Do follow us on Twitter if you can, and if you can't,
If you
then
dare.
get your shit together so that you can. It's not that hard to sign up for Twitter. There you go. You can find our Twitters sort of below and things like that.
It's not that hard. Jesus.
Yep. There you go.
Yeah, get it together, God.
God, you're so. Ugh.
What do
All right.
you mean you don't want to hear all my Animu tweets? What? Why are you all
complain a lot
following
about
me?
nerd things. I'm so angry about them.
We have to endure her all the time, so I feel that you guys should too.
Yeah, me.
Just.
And then Maggie, the only well-adjusted person on the show. There you go.
Literally the only person.
I don't know if you want to say well-adjusted, but sure.
It's all relative. It's
Yeah.
really all relative.
Relatively more than us.
Thank you very much for watching, folks. We're done. This has been Corruptional Podcast. Good night.